Hey guys, Chaos Shinobi here. This is a story where Naruto's personality of being an idiot is just an act and he drops that mask. Also, Naruto is able to learn more than shadow clones from the Forbidden Scroll, getting a fox contract and being able to use all element natures. Now let's begin. Chapter 17. New Jutsus. Kainton. Naruto rushed Kabuto and sent a punch to the older shinobi's stomach, but Kabuto moved to the side and activated his chakra scalpels. Naruto rolled away before the chakra scalpels could sever his muscles. Naruto then drew a kunai and then infused wind chakra into it, making it sharper. Naruto then slashed his kunai, which collided with Kabuto's hand of cutting chakra. The wind and healing chakras collided, creating a small explosion, sending the two ninja flying away from each other. With Jiraiya, Orochimaru had used Kuchiyose no Jutsu and summoned 3 large snakes like the ones used for the war. Jiraiya then made some hand signs and slammed his palm on the floor. Doton, Yomi Numa / Earth style. Swamp of the underworld, he yelled. Then the earth beneath the giant snakes turned moist and unstable as it became a swamp. 2 of the giant reptiles fell into the dark abyss of the swamp, but one of them was smart enough to dodge and went to strike Jiraiya. Jiraiya gritted his teeth as he avoided the snake's blows. Jiraiya then spotted the Hibi Sannin on the gargantuan snake's head, and then after avoiding one of the snake's blows, the reptile's head had crashed into the earth. Jiraiya used this to his advantage and then jumped on the snake's head and ran up to Orochimaru. Orochimaru formed some hand signs and his neck then elongated. His fangs bared to bite Jiraiya's flesh. Jiraiya stopped his movements and formed some hand signs. Ninpu, Nido Jaizu / ninja art. Needle hair, he yelled. Jiraiya's hair then surrounded his body and became sharper, like spikes. Orochimaru glared before he spotted an opening, and then clamped his jaws around Jiraiya's shoulder, and using amazing strength heaved Jiraiya. Jiraiya used chakra to slow his movement as he skidded along the snake's slimy body. Kukuku, surrender Jiraiya, you know you're going to lose. I am the ultimate ninja, for I know nearly every jutsu created. And once I get Sasuke-kun's body as my own, I will achieve the Sharingan and obtain every jutsu created, Orochimaru said. Jiraiya shook his head. That is not what a shinobi is, Orochimaru team, Jiraiya said. Orochimaru looked at Jiraiya with a puzzled look. Oh really? A ninja is a being who can perform all ninjutsu, hence the nin in ninja, Orochimaru said. No, a ninja is somebody who has the guts to take on any challenge and defend themselves and those precious to them with all their strength. That is what a ninja is. Namake's Uzumaki Naruto is a living example of a ninja, Jiraiya said. Orochimaru's eyes widened as he looked at Naruto fighting Kabuto. That Kubigaki, he's Minato's son, Orochimaru said. Jiraiya nodded and then got into a fighting stance. Looks like I'll have to rethink my host body options now, Orochimaru chuckled. Jiraiya then rushed the former Hibi Sannin. Over my dead body, you would get Naruto, Jiraiya said, and then the 2 Sannin went into a flurry of kick and punches. With Naruto and Kabuto. Naruto was having a hard time fighting Kabuto because he had to worry about not getting hit by those chakra scalpels. Kyuso, I need to kill this team, but I need a good shot. Then he got an idea. Kabuto noticed Naruto halt in movement and struck Naruto in the arms. Naruto then turned into a plume of smoke, indicating it was a Kagebunshin. Kabuto looked around, but couldn't find Naruto. Kabuto grinned and then raced towards Tsunade. Shizun noticed this and then threw a few poison senbon. Kabuto then lowered his Oto Hitai 8, deflecting the poisonous projectiles. Ha, that was pathetic, Kabuto said with a laugh and then knocked out Shizun. He then walked over to Tsunade and raised his chakra scalpel. Time to die, Sannin, Kabuto said. Tsunade looked up, still shaken up by the blood on her hands. Kabuto then aimed a chakra scalpel aimed at her heart, but was hit by an unexpected kick to the stomach. Kabuto was sent flying. Tsunade looked in front of her and saw Naruto standing in front of her. You all right, Oba-chan? He asked. Tsunade glared. You baka. Don't do this, you'll get killed, Tsunade yelled. Naruto turned and grinned. Hey, I still need to win that bet, don't I? Now let me show you my newest jutsus, he said. Naruto then took out a scroll from his weapons pouch. He bit his thumb and the scroll opened, revealing Ryuarashi. Naruto picked up the 4-feet blade and clutched at his hands. Kabuto got up and stared at the blade. Seems you got a new toy, Naruto, Kabuto said. Naruto didn't respond and simply shunshined in front of Kabuto and slashed downwards at the crook of Kabuto's neck. Kabuto barely managed to dodge, his shirt getting slightly cut by the blow, But then he felt a powerful wind followed as the sword slashed, sending Kabuto skidding on the ground and receiving cuts all over his body. Ryurashi has a power to control the elements of water, lightning, and wind, allowing me to channel these chakras into the blade, and based on the chakra I get different results. That was wind, now for water, Naruto said. He then slashed horizontally, and a row of blades, made entirely of water, flew towards the downed Kabuto, hitting him in the chest. Kabuto grunted in pain, but then laughed as he removed the water blades. Naruto's eyes widened when he saw that Kabuto's wounds were healing rapidly before his eyes. "What are you?" Naruto asked. Kabuto shifted his glasses. "It's my Kekai Genkai. It allows to heal from almost any injury, no matter how serious," Kabuto explained. Naruto nodded before channeling lightning chakra into his sword. Naruto then plunged his sword into the ground, and the lightning from the sword traveled along the ground, splitting it, and then it moved towards Kabuto, but veered away from him at the last second. "Looks like you missed," Kabuto said. "No, I didn't," Naruto said as he pointed his hand at Orochimaru's little pet. The snake Jiraiya and Orochimaru was split in two and then died as it puffed away. Kabuto, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and everyone else were surprised at what just happened. Using their surprise to his advantage, Naruto channeled his fire, earth, and water chakras. Naruto then made hand signs. "Tsunade Obichan, watch this," Naruto said. Tsunade looked at Naruto as gasped at what she saw. Pure metal surrounded Naruto's hands. The metal then formed large claws where his fingers were. "This is my newest jutsu style, Kainton. Sum no Kitsune / metal style. Fox Claw," Naruto said, and then raced forward, slashing Kabuto multiple times across his chest. Blood spilled in large amounts as Kabuto screamed in pain. The claws disappeared, and then Naruto formed more hand signs and then picked up Ryurashi. "Kainton, Senin Hanto no Sure / metal style. 1,000 swords of death," Naruto yelled. Then the silver metal covered his sword, and then the metal then split many times until there were 1,000 silver metallic blades hovering around Naruto. Naruto then pointed at Kabuto, and the swords then flew at Kabuto. Kabuto had nearly fully healed from the Tsum no Kitsune, but then was forced to dodge the lightning-fast blades. However, the speed and sheer numbers of the 1,000 swords were too much for him, and he got cut and or impaled in some places. The swords then disappeared after they all flew at Kabuto. Naruto then formed more hand signs and clapped his hands together. "Kainton, Kanashibari no Jutsu / metal style. Metal restraints jutsu," Naruto yelled. Then large black metal chains came out from underneath the ground and bound Kabuto's damaged form, tying his arms and legs. Kabuto struggled against the chains, but couldn't get free. "Damn you, Naruto, you bitch. Let me go now so I can fucking pummel you to fucking death," Kabuto cried. Naruto then walked towards Kabuto and then held out his hand. Chakra and wind then swirled into his palm, and the orb of destruction known as the Rasengan was shown in all its glory. Kabuto's eyes widened. "You learned the Rasengan?" Kabuto asked. Naruto didn't answer as he broke into a run. The Rasengan held out behind him. Naruto then reached a few inches between he and Kabuto. Naruto then thrust the Rasengan forward into Kabuto's stomach, making him cough up blood. The metal chains broke and Kabuto was sent spiraling into a boulder with terrific force. "Rasengan," Naruto said, and then walked away, but then fell to the ground, exhausted. Tsunade rushed over to him and checked his vitals. "Oh, thank Kami-sama. You're alive and one heck of a kid. To think you made your own jutsu style? Kainton? Well, Naruto, I guess you win," Tsunade said, and then removed her necklace and placed it around Naruto's neck. Orochimaru was astonished. A new jutsu style was made by this Gaki. Orochimaru grinned and then rushed at Naruto and opened his mouth. The Kusanagi aimed at him. Jiraiya was too slow to stop him and watched as the snake sped towards Tsunade and his student. "You're no good to Akutsuki, dead Gaki," Orochimaru screamed maniacally. The Kusanagi was thrust, and blood flew, but not from the intended victim. Tsunade was in between Naruto and Orochimaru. The Kusanagi was through her chest and she was bleeding heavily. "What? Why are you saving the boy?" Orochimaru said. Tsunade looked up with anger evident in her stare. "Because I am the Godame Hokage of Konohagakure, and I am to protect all those a part of my village from people like you," Tsunade said. She then removed the Kusanagi from her body and then kicked Orochimaru in the balls. The Hibi Sannin fell to the ground with tears in his eyes. Tsunade then picked him up by his collar and kneed him in the stomach, and then threw him up and punched Orochimaru in the face, sending flying by Kabuto's body. Jiraiya smiled as he saw Orochimaru fly. Tsunade then tried to heal herself with standard healing jutsu, but it didn't work, so she released the diamond seal on her forehead. Sozo Saze/mitotic regeneration, she said, and then the diamond glowed, turning into black markings, and the wound on her chest healed in a number of seconds. Then the two Sannin heard the sound of laughing. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. You think you can beat me? Kabuto now, Orochimaru said as he used his long tongue to lift his arm sleeve to reveal a snake tattoo. Naruto stirred and his eyes widened and saw Kabuto moving. How is he still alive? Naruto whispered as he struggled to get up. Kabuto then slowly took out a kunai and slashed Orochimaru's arm tattoo. Tsunade and Jiraiya and Naruto also formed Han signs. Kuchiyose no jutsu/summoning jutsu, they four yelled. Then a giant plume of smoke appeared, and then when the smoke cleared there stood a giant purple and black snake, a giant toad with a large dag and wearing a robe, a giant white and blue slug, and a large white eight-tailed kitsune. The slug, toad, and snake turned at the fox, puzzled. Who are you? Gamabunta asked the fox. I am Saiyan. Mate to Kyuubi no Yoko, and Naruto's summoned Saiyan replied. The three summons, Orochimaru and Tsunade gasped. I see, so Kyuubi has given you the ability to summon his kin. You must be very special, Katsuyu, the slug said. Manda looked at the three summons, it him against three. He then looked at Orochimaru. Orochimaru, how dare you summon me to this battle? I am significantly outmatched 3-1. You would obviously lose, so I'm outta here, Manda said, and then poofed away. Orochimaru then landed on the ground and then melted into it, taking the injured, almost dead, Kabuto with him. We will see each other again soon, Jiraiya-kun, Tsunade-chan, and especially you, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said, his eyes still peeking above the ground. Saiyan growled and stomped her paw where the snake's head was, but it was too late, for the Hibi Sannin has already left. The three summons then placed their summoners on the ground before leaving in a poof of smoke. Well, guess we'd better head back to Konoha, Naruto said with a sheepish grin. The two Sannin chuckled. Tsunade then walked over and picked up Shizune, and the four of them left. They all decided to rest for today before leaving the next morning. Before they left the town, Tsunade saw a cut little pig in a shop window and instantly bought the cute little snorter, naming her Tauntaun. Then they set off. One day later. So Gaki, how did you make that Kainton jutsu? Jiraiya asked. Tsunade nodded, wanting to know also. Shizune poked her head in, also wanting to know after being updated on what happened. Well, I wanted to make something that nobody would copy, and even if Itachi could copy my hand signs and the jutsu, he doesn't have the chakra natures to do it, so it's almost completely foolproof. As to how I made it, I just fused fire, earth, and water chakras. The fire and earth would combine to form the iron, or from the earth followed by the water, which would cool the heated iron. Then I can use Kyuubi Tusan's chakra to turn the iron or into the metal alloy, Naruto explained. Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Shizune were shocked. This Gaki who looked so dumb said something incredibly smart. Well, that's great, Gaki. Anyways, good job on that Rasengan. Kabuto will take a while to heal all those injuries you gave him in the fight, Jiraiya complimented. Yeah, also nice trick with the sword, Ryuarashi. That name sounds familiar, Tsunade said as she looked up trying to remember. It was my mother's. Uzumaki Kushina, Naruto said with a downcast look. Tsunade snapped her fingers. Oh right, Kushina, my favorite genin student. I had made her my apprentice before Shizune, Tsunade said. Naruto's eyes widened. You taught Okasan, Naruto said with disbelief. Yeah. Why do you make sound hard to believe? Tsunade asked. Naruto shrugged. Because you look like somebody who wouldn't have the patience to take on an apprentice. You be all old and hag-like, Naruto said. Tsunade's vein bulged in her head when she heard the insults to her age. She then grabbed the other blonde by his collar. Shut up about my age, I may be in my 50s, but I have the power and body, she said with a smirk. Of when I was in my prime, Tsunade said. Naruto laughed before walking ahead of them. Tsunade cocked her head to the side in confusion. What's with the laughing? I don't get come back here, Naruto, Tsunade said as she chased after the young Namikes. Jiraiya shook his head as he and Shizune held back, watching the slug Sannin chase after the Kyuubi Jinchuriki like a mother with her son. I see those two get along well, Jiraiya said. Shizune nodded in agreement. I have never seen Tsunade-sama this happy. It's almost like she has Nawaki back, she said. At the Konoha gates. Hyuga Hinata watched the main gated intently like every other afternoon, waiting for our blonde enigma to return. Then Hinata's eyes widened when she heard some voices that sounded oddly like yelling. Byakugan, Hinata said as the veins around her eyes became more powerful, allowing her enhanced vision. She looked and saw a few 100 feet away for figures. 2 were male and the other 2 were female. She then recognized the shorter of the 2 males to be her one and only Naruto-kun. Hinata then deactivated her Byakugan and waited. 20 minutes later, the gates opened to reveal Tsunade, Jiraiya, Shizune, and Naruto. Hinata instantly sped towards them. Naruto turned and was sent to the ground by a gray and black blur. He looked and saw Hinata hugging him on the ground. Naruto got up and helped Hinata up. "Hey Hinata-chan. I'm guessing you missed me while I was gone," Naruto said. Hinata didn't answer in words, but with a long, deep kiss on the lips, with some tongue. Naruto's eyes shot open and Hinata then released the kiss and smiled. "Okay. I know you really missed me," Naruto said with his foxy grin. Jiraiya then slapped Naruto on the back. "Wow, way to go Gaki, you have girlfriend and a Hyuga no less. I now have some new inspiration for my new issue of Ika Ika Paradise." He said with a perverted giggle, but was then knocked to the ground by Tsunade. "Gomen, the baka is always teasing the Gaki," Tsunade said as she ruffled Naruto's hair. "But now it's my turn to tease him," Tsunade added. Naruto groaned. "Not you too, Oba-chan," Naruto whined and was then hit in the head. "Stop calling me that. It's Hokage-sama from now on," the slug Sannin said. Naruto nursed his damaged head and glared at the older woman. "Dear Kami-sama, you're just like Arrow Sannin, always hitting me for giving you a nickname. How would you feel if I hit you for calling me Gaki all the time?" Naruto said. Tsunade chuckled before helping Jiraiya to his feet. Hinata was shocked. She was standing in front of 2 of the most powerful shinobi on the entire elemental continent and Naruto was acting like they were his family. Hinata then shrugged. He wouldn't be the most surprising shinobi of Konoha if he showed respect. "Come on Hinata-chan. Let's go have some dinner at Ichiraku's. I'm starving," Naruto exclaimed and then grabbed Hinata's arm as they went to Ichiraku's. Tsunade laughed as she watched the couple run off. "Ah, young love," she said with a sigh. Jiraiya nodded. "Ain't that the truth?" Jiraiya said. Tsunade then rubbed her palms together. "Well, time to go and look at that office since I'm Hokage now," Tsunade said. Shizune and Jiraiya then accompanied the new Godame to the Hokage Tower. Tsunade then stepped into the office looking around and smiled, feeling nostalgic. "Wow, brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it, Jiraiya?" Tsunade asked her teammate. "Yeah, having sensei belittle us when we complained about that damn cat," Jiraiya said with a smile. Shizune chuckled and then decided it was time for her to leave those 2 alone. She took Taunton and left the room. Tsunade then sat in the chair and looked at the desk and saw a significantly lowered amount of paperwork. You'd think after a war there would be mountains of it. "Where's the paperwork?" she asked in confusion. "You mean you wanted to do mountains of paperwork?" Jiraiya questioned with a smirk. "No, but it's only been a month after the war, and there should be at least a mountain of it," Tsunade replied. She then heard a knock on the door. "Come in," she said. The door opened to reveal Hyuga Hayashi. "Hey, it's the guy with a stick up his ass," Tsunade said. Hayashi ignored it and then cleared his throat. "Hello, Tsunade-sama. I just came to." Hayashi started before Tsunade interrupted. "That's Hak-sama to you, Mr. Stick," the Godame said with a smirk. Hayashi knew he deserved those insults, so he just let them slide. "Hokage-sama, I have to come to inform you that I and some of the other clan heads have done most of the paperwork. Also, we all wish you a welcome back and to thank you for returning to Konoha," Hayashi said. Tsunade nodded. "Arigato," she said. Also, Hayashi added, "I was to tell you that my daughter, Hinata, is betrothed to Namake's Uzumaki Naruto, so I just wanted to tell you that." "Good day, Hokage-sama," Hayashi said and then left. Tsunade was shocked and Jiraiya smirked. "Oh my god. The Gaki's getting married. I have to tell him," Tsunade said as she frantic-all-why looked for the door that was right in front of her face. She then spotted it and went, but Jiraiya stopped her. "Let me tell him. After all, I am his godfather," Jiraiya said. "Family privileges," he said when Tsunade glared at him. "You gave to go see the council anyways to get your seat as Hokage approved," he added. Tsunade sighed and then left to go to the council room to talk with those shriveled-up assholes. Jiraiya giggled a bit before sunshining to Ichiraku. "Ichiraku ramen. Oi, Tsuchiyaji-san. Another bowl over here," Naruto yelled as he finished his 4th bowl. Hinata was on her second since she was actually using her manners and not eating at an inhuman pace. Naruto then proceeded to tell her about Kyuubi, feeling it was time, but before he could Jiraiya appeared. Gaki, Jiraiya said, taking a seat next to Hinata, smiling. Naruto looked at the Gama Sannin with a puzzled look. Naruto swallowed his ramen and then turned to Jiraiya. "What are you doing here?" Naruto asked. Jiraiya smiled and then pointed at Hinata and then Naruto. "Naruto, you're gonna get." Jiraiya was smiling with happiness. "What? What I'm gonna get what?" Naruto asked. "You, my young Namikaze, are betrothed to this pretty little Hyuga here," Jiraiya said. Naruto nearly choked while Hinata was turning into a tomato. "What, I'm marrying her? Not that I don't want, because I will in the future, but they've already decided it," Naruto yelled. Hinata had fainted when Naruto has said that he would marry her and looked like a sleeping red blob with clothes. Jiraiya nodded and then threw Naruto a key and a piece of paper. Naruto caught them and looked at the two things. "What are these for?" Naruto asked. Jiraiya smiled. "The key and the directions to your father's estate. You can bring your fiancé if you too," he teased. Naruto then picked Hinata up bridal style and walked then, since he used Kagebunshin so much, was able to do it without hand signs to give the directions. Jiraiya and Naruto followed the Kagebunshin to a cave hidden behind the Hokage tower that had a sign above it saying, "Only people that I have chosen are allowed. Others will be vaporized by my seals." 3 Minato Naruto looked at Jiraiya, who just shrugged. They followed the Kagebunshin into the cave, and then a few seconds later they emerged out of it to reveal a huge mansion, bigger than the Hyuga estate. Naruto gasped and nearly dropped Hinata. Hinata had just woken up and saw Naruto gaping at something as she set herself down. She turned and also gaped. "Holy shit," Hinata said as she saw the 5-story mansion. Naruto then walked and took the key and tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. He then saw seals on the door. Naruto then decided to test this theory. He then bit his finger to make it bleed. The blood dropped on the key and then put in the keyhole. The seals on the door glowed and the door opened. Naruto entered, followed by Hinata and Jiraiya. He looked on the first floor. There was a normal housing area with a family room, a huge kitchen, and 2 bathrooms. The second story had 3 bathrooms and a huge study filled to the brim with scrolls on ceiling and one hidden in a chest that when Naruto opened it gasped. The scroll seemed to glow as Naruto held it. "That's the scroll with the Hiraishin no Jutsu / Flying Thunder God Jutsu in it. The jutsu that made your father the Yellow Flash," Jiraiya said. "As for the other, they're mostly sealing and other jutsus. Minato told me some of them hold jutsus from your mother's side," Jiraiya said. Naruto squealed with joy as he ran up to the 3rd story. Hinata quickly chased after him. Since she would be marrying Naruto, she needed to get used to this gigantic dwelling. The 4th story was a large training room with all sorts of equipment such as training dummies, a large area to practice sealing, and a large variety of weaponry. The 5th and final floor was a room with a single ladder. Naruto, Jiraiya, and Hinata all climbed it to find a small attic door. Naruto opened the door and found himself on the roof of the house that overlooked the village. Hinata and Jiraiya had come onto the roof a few seconds later and had instantly had their breath taken away. The sun was setting and the village was looking really spectacular from the view. Hinata walked next to Naruto and held his hand as they looked at the village. Jiraiya teared up at the sight and then decided they needed to be alone. Hinata rested her head on Naruto's shoulder as they sat down to watch the sun. Naruto then walked Hinata home when he thought it was getting late and then kissed her goodbye. "See you later, Hinata-heim," Naruto said. Hinata blushed at the new suffix added to her name. "Be ye Naruto-kun," she said, and then the gated closed as soon as she entered the gates. The next day, A/N. "I think I'm using this next day thing a bit too much, wouldn't you say?" Naruto was walking down the road. No apparent reason, just to look around and do nothing. Then he heard footsteps. Naruto turned and his eyes widened when the wind got knocked out of him as a pink-haired thing hit his stomach. "Naruto and Isen," Sakura cried as she hugged the boy on the ground. Naruto shook his head, major déjà vu. He and Sakura then got up. "Thank goodness you're back. I have been having some troubles," Sakura said with a downcast look. Naruto looked at his Nachon. "What happened?" he asked her softly. Sakura looked up with tears in her eyes. "It's Sasuke-kun, he's not himself. He's acting like was back in the academy all moody and like he doesn't care about things other than power anymore. Do you think the curse seal is affecting him?" Sakura said. Naruto took Sakura's arm and looked her straight in the eye. "Where is he?" he asked. Sakura wiped her eyes. He had exhausted himself yesterday, so he's in the hospital, she said. Naruto and Sakura then raced to the hospital. At the hospital, Sakura and Naruto walked into the hospital and Sakura directed him to Sasuke's room. She opened the door to find Sasuke awake, looking out the window. Sasuke turned his head to see Sakura and he gritted his teeth. Naruto. Sakura, Naruto, Sasuke said. Naruto looked at Sasuke oddly. He always used to call him Naruto and II, and Sakura would be Sakura-chan. But there was something that throwing him off about Sasuke. Sasuke then got up and stretched. Sakura walked up to him and tried to get him to lie down more. You need your rest, Sasuke-kun, she urged. Sasuke moved her aside and then walked up to Naruto. Naruto, I want you and I to fight, he said. Naruto was taken back. What, why? Naruto questioned. Sasuke became angered. Shut the hell up, dobe. Didn't you want to fight me then? Let's go to the roof and fight, Sasuke said as his chakra spiked. The Sharingan replaced his onyx eyes. A/N. Oh, just so you know, Kakashi has replaced the protection seal with another, so this way his curse seal won't appear in the hospital fight. Naruto swallowed. Sasuke's killer intent was particularly strong. He really wanted to fight this badly. Naruto sighed. All right, we'll go on the roof, Naruto said. Sakura gasped. How could Naruto and Sasuke, two people who saw each other as brothers, want to fight this badly? Sakura then followed the two boys to the roof. Team 7 then walked out the door leading to the roof. Naruto and Sasuke stood across from each other while Sakura just stayed by the door. Naruto then noticed Sasuke didn't have his Hitai 8 on. Sasuke, put on your Hitai 8, I'll wait, Naruto said. Sasuke gritted his teeth. Why should I? He growled. Naruto was shocked. Because it signifies that two Konoha shinobi are fighting as equals, he replied. Sasuke chuckled. We are not equals, Sasuke shouted, his Sharingan blazing. What are you talking about? I've always been as good as you, Naruto shouted back. Then prove it. If you can get a scratch on my forehead, I'll consider you my equal, Sasuke said, jabbing his thumb at his forehead. Naruto growled, his eyes flashing red for a second. The two then rushed each other. Sasuke then attacked, sending a swift punch to the gut, but Naruto used his knee to block it. Naruto then retaliated with a punch to Sasuke's face, hitting Sasuke in the forehead. Sasuke rubbed his forehead in pain. There now, I'm your equal, he said. Sasuke gritted his teeth. The dobe managed to hit him, but it was only luck. Sasuke then rushed at god-fast speeds and hit Naruto with a barrage of punches and kicks. Naruto groaned in pain and went flying back. Naruto then got up and blocked a punch to his face. He then did a sweep kick, tripping Sasuke, and then pinned his shirt and pants to the concrete with a few kunai. Damn it, Sasuke. What's wrong with you? Why are you so aggressive? Naruto asked. Sasuke glared. Because I want to know who is stronger between the two of us, Sasuke said, and then yanked the kunai and freed himself. Sasuke then delivered a fast kick to Naruto's stomach. Naruto quickly recovered and formed his favorite cross-shaped sign. Kagebunshin no jutsu, Naruto yelled. 50 Kagebunshins then puffed into existence. Sasuke, with his Sharingan, was able to avoid them and counterstrike each of their attacks. But Naruto had managed to make 5 Kagebunshins get under his guard. Uzumaki, the clones yelled as they kicked him up. Sasuke had used his arms to block his body from the brunt force of the blows. Then a 5th Kagebunshin went to deliver the final blow. But Sasuke turned and caught the kick and threw it downwards. Sasuke then formed hand signs and took a deep breath. Katan. Gukaku no jutsu. He yelled, and a huge fireball blew out of his mouth, destroying Kagebunshins left and right. The fire then began to swirl around Naruto, and there in his right hand the Rasengan floated centimeters above it in all its glory. What is that jutsu? Sasuke thought, and then made the hand signs and gripped his right wrist with his left arm as the Chidori flared to life. Sasuke. Naruto. The two genins then thrust their attacks forward, but Sakura had enough of the fighting and ran in between them to try and stop them. But the boys couldn't stop moving and were about to hit Sakura. Then as they were about to hit, a wrist then appeared and grabbed the two boys' wrists and threw them into the water tanks. Kakashi stood there panting. Looks like I made it just in time, he said. Sakura gasped. Kakashi-sensei, she exclaimed. Sasuke and Naruto ripped their hands out of the tanks. Naruto had made a tiny hole, while Sasuke had made a much bigger one, the water flowing rapidly from it. Sasuke then jumped over the iron fence, but then his smirk disappeared, turning into surprise. The entire back part of Naruto's tank had been completely blown out. Sasuke gritted his teeth and then ran off. Sasuke was jumping through the trees when some iron wire wrapped around his body and pinned him to tree. Kakashi then landed in front of the Avenger. Sasuke, we need to talk, Kakashi stated. Sasuke remained silent. Sasuke, do you know why I trusted you with that Chidori technique? He asked. Sasuke still didn't speak. Kakashi sighed. The reason was because I believed you would use to help protect those close to you, not on a friend, especially not your best friend like you are with Naruto, Kakashi said. Well, you don't know my pain. How would you feel if I killed all your precious people, he said. Kakashi smiled a sad smile beneath his mask. All the people that held precious. They're all dead, Kakashi said. Sasuke's eyes widened and his gaze looked down at the ground below. Kakashi then loosened the wire as Sasuke fell limply onto a tree branch. Kakashi looked down at Sasuke. I hope my talk has helped you, he said, and then poofed away. Sasuke looked at the ground and glared. He needed power, he needed to control the power of Curse Seal, he would need to go to Orochimaru, but he didn't want to leave his home. Sasuke then heard a rustling. Four people then jumped down, a red-haired woman, a gray-haired man, a black-haired, tan man with 6 arms and a fat guy with orange hair. So this is Uchiha Sasuke. The fucking Gaki doesn't look like much. Why would Orochimaru-sama want someone that looks like a fucking duck's ass? Why don't we beat the shit out of him and see why, Tayuya? The gray-haired one said. Good idea, Sakan, the 6-armed one said. Demo, Kitamaro, Orochimaru-sama said not to harm him, the fat one said. Tayuya scoffed. Shut your fucking damn mouth. Jirabu, you fattest, now let's just beat the shit out him, call it a day, Tayuya said. Jirabu remained silent. Who are you people? Sasuke asked. The 4 looked down at the young Uchiha. Tayuya of the North Gate, the red-head said. Sakan of the East Gate, the gray-haired one said. Kitamaro of the West Gate, the 6-armed one said. Jirabu of the South Gate, the fat one said. We are Orochimaru-sama's most trusted fighters, known as the Oto-yan/Sound 4, he added. Sasuke then got up and into the Uchiha fighting stance, his Sharingan active. Looks like the little Gaki wants to fight, Sakan said. Tayuya jumped at Sasuke, but Sasuke then grabbed her hair and yanked her down, face planting her into the tree branch. Kitamaro then went to punch him, but Sasuke then ducked underneath him and kicked his stomach and then slammed him into Tayuya, who then slammed into the tree trunk. Sakan and Jirabu went in for a double punch, but Sasuke knocked their fists downwards, kicking Jirabu into the growing pile of Otonins. Sakan then aimed a kick at Sasuke, but Sasuke avoided it. Sasuke then sent a left hook at Sakan's face. The Otonin dodged, but didn't see the kick aimed for his chin. Sasuke did the kick up and then did Kagebunshin/Shadow of the Dancing Leaf, and then performed the Shishirendan/Lion's Barrage, slamming Sakan into the rest of the group. Sasuke jumped away and panted a bit. The pile of Otonins then turned into a pile of logs, signifying the use of Kawarimi no Jutsu. Sasuke then looked to the left when he heard laughing. There stood the Sound 4. Sasuke gritted his teeth in annoyance. Sakan stopped laughing and then began to speak. You are to come with us to Orochimaru-sama. He says he can give the power to defeat your Aniki/older brother, Sakan said. Sasuke's eyes widened, but then quickly dodged a punch from Tayuya. Jirabu and Kitamaro then went in with a combo, which Sasuke had managed to protect himself from by using Kawarimi. Sasuke kept dodging the onslaught of blows as though he could read their moves before they mad them. Sasuke then jumped away and felt a searing pain behind his Sharingan eyes and began to scream, clutching his head. The Sound 4 stared at the Uchiha until he stopped screaming. Sasuke looked up panting. The Sound 4 gasped. 6 Tomo stared at them, 3 in each eye. Sasuke then looked at the 4 with his now mature Sharingan and smiled. Arigato for helping me unlock my Sharingan's mature form, but I think I won't go, Sasuke said. Sakan then appeared behind Sasuke with unreal speed. The black markings from use of his curse mark were spread across his face. Sasuke gasped. That's right, we have one too, Sakan said, and then pinned Sasuke to the ground. Sakan then told Sasuke about the curse seal's mature form and how it would erode his body if used for a long period of time. The 4 then left, but not before offering Sasuke an offer to come with then, and if chooses to do so, to meet then in the forest at midnight outside Konoha in 2 days. Sasuke was stuck thinking about what he would do. 2 days later, Sasuke had looked at his home of the Uchiha complex, the place he had lived in for 13 years, the place that held so many memories for him, good and bad. Sasuke then picked up his bag and looked up at the full moon. He then looked at the clock. 11:30 p.m. it said. He had half an hour left. Sasuke then left, picking up his bag, and then went to training ground 7. He looked at the grass and the flowing water of the nearby river. The place where he first became a shinobi of Konoha. Was he really going to leave a place where he was seen as a hero, a place where people loved him, all for power? Yes, he needed to control the curse mark, and then after that he would return to Konoha. He knows it's stupid, but there's no one else. Sasuke then went to the main gates, and as he was about to leave, a voice called to him. Sasuke-kun, please don't go, Sakura said. Sasuke turned and looked at her. Gomen nasai, Sakura, but I need to do this. I need to kill my brother, he said. Sakura was astonished. Demo, Sasuke-kun, we can help you. Just stay with us, please. I'll go with you if you want. I love you too much to let you go like this, Sakura cried. Sasuke then shined behind her. Sakura gasped when she felt lips come in contact with her cheek. Arigato, Sakura-chan. But I need to do this alone. Johnny, Sasuke said, and then knocked her out. Sakura fell, but Sasuke caught her and rested her down on a nearby bench. Sasuke then jumped over the gate and landed quietly on the other side. He then ran to the edge of the forest where he met the 4. So you ready to go? Sakan asked. Sasuke nodded. Okay, but first we need to prepare you for your mature curse seal state. Here, Sakan said as he took out a purple pill. This is a strong pill that releases your curse seal to its maximum potential. We will then keep you in this confined container, where you will be in a near-death state. So we need to keep you there until the time is right, Sakan explained. Sasuke looked at the pill before taking it and then hesitantly put it in his mouth. He chewed it and then swallowed it down his throat. As soon as he did that, Sasuke fell to the ground. Jirabu then put the near-death Sasuke into a large casket and carried him. The sound for then raced through the trees to Otogekure. Chapter 18. I will not fail, I promise. Tsunade was in her office, and before her stood Haruno Sakura, Nara Shikamaru, and Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto pondered on why Tsunade has asked him to come. Well, I can tell you 3 are wondering why you are here, Tsunade said. The 3 genin all nodded. Well, it's because I have heard that you 3 had done exceedingly well during this year's Chunin exams, and therefore you have earned the title of Chunin, Tsunade said with a smile. Congratulations. And then she took out 3 Chunin vests from behind her desk and handed them to the 3 now Chunin. Wear it with pride, she said. Naruto looked at her. Can I get a different color? He asked. Tsunade looked at the person she saw as an Aotachuo, maybe a son. I think, what color do you want? She asked. Naruto smiled. Blue with black pockets and the Namikaze symbol on the back. He said, whispering the part about the Namikaze symbol. And the Namikaze symbol was a series of intricate lines that when joined together formed the face of the flash goddess. Tsunade nodded and took back the green vest. Anyway, on to other news. I have just received a notification from Sakura here that Uchiha Sasuke has fled Konohagakure to Otogekure in order to gain power from Orochimaru, she explained. Naruto and Shikamaru's eyes widened when they heard this and looked at Sakura. Sakura-ne-chan, is that true? He asked. Sakura teared up a bit before nodding. Naruto's eyes flashed red in anger. How could Sasuke leave everything behind all for power? Tsunade then interrupted the silence. Okay, Sakura, you are obviously not in the state of mind to go on the mission to retrieve Sasuke, so therefore Naruto, Shikamaru, you 2 are to gather any amount of ninja you think are necessary to bring with you, she commanded. Hi, they replied and then left. Sakura sat on the ground and cried. Tsunade sighed. I know what you're going through, kiddo. It's tough when you find out that the person you had once had feeling for betrays you, she said. Sakura looked up with confusion on her tear-stained face. Jiraiya fought with all his heart, but in the end he couldn't bring back Orochimaru, she said as she remembered the day Jiraiya came back to village all battered and bloodied, but with no Orochimaru. Let's just hope Naruto can accomplish this mission and break the vicious cycle, Tsunade added. A few hours later, a knock came at Tsunade's door. Tsunade looked up from the paperwork she had to do for making those 3 Chunin rank. Come in, she said. The door opened and Naruto and Shikamaru entered. So who have you chosen? She asked. We have chosen Akimichi Chuji, Inazuka Kiba, Hyuga Niji, and Rock Lee, Shikamaru answered. Naruto then cut in. Also, we want you to send a message to the village of Sunagekure, Naruto said. Tsunade raised her eyebrow. What for? She asked. Naruto grinned his foxy grin. Let's just say it's a backup plan. Tell them we request help from their 3 best genin, Naruto answered. Tsunade sighed at the amount of paperwork she'd be getting. But that's the price of Hokage. Tsunade nodded, and then Naruto and Shikamaru left the office. Shikamaru and Naruto then walked out of the office and left to go gather the others. So, who are your special backup plan recruits? Shikamaru asked. Naruto just told him. They'll come when they come. Shikamaru didn't press on finding it too troublesome to ask again. Konoha main gates. Kiba and Akamaru, Lee, Chuji, eating chips, Shikamaru, Neji and Naruto all stood at Konoha's main gates. Okay guys, listen up, my teammate and the one I had called best friend, my brother even Uchiha Sasuke had fled the village in order to gain power from Orochimaru, Naruto said. The people present were shocked, minus Shikamaru, at the news. This is an S-ranked mission, so we need to bring him back using everything we have. I know none of you knew Sasuke like I did, but he's a fellow Konoha shinobi and that's all the reason you need, Naruto said. The guys all nodded and then proceeded to leave, but then Sakura ran up to them. What is it? Naruto asked, concerned for his sister. Sakura looked up with tears in her eyes. I tried to stop him. I really did. But Naruto just promised me this, she said. Naruto listened to what Sakura had to say. Please just bring him home, she said. Naruto nodded. I will not fail, I promise. But I can't promise you that I won't have to hurt him if I need to bring him back, Naruto said. Sakura looked up at him and nodded. Do what you have to do, as long as you bring him back home alive, she said. Naruto gave his foxy grin and then Shikamaru rapidly explained the plan and then the 4 genin and 2 chunin sped off to retrieve their friend. Be careful, Naruto, Sakura whispered to the wind as it blew through her short pink locks. Konoha Forest. Naruto and the others were in a single file formation, Kiba followed by Naruto, then Chuji, Lee, Shikamaru, and finally Neji. Kiba had quickly picked up on Sasuke's scent and the group was off. A few hours later, the group had encountered many traps. Some were triple-layered traps that might have been triggered if Naruto and Shikamaru hadn't spotted them. The team of 6 had quickly caught up to the Sound 4 in a clearing. Who are you brats? Kitamaro asked. We're here for Sasuke, Naruto replied, killer intent coming off of him in waves. Jirabu stepped forward and then formed some hand signs. Doton. Tsuchi no Domu / Earth style. Earth Dome, Jirabu said, and then a large sheet of earth tore up from the ground and encased the 6 genin. You guys go ahead. I'll catch up once I'm done with them, Jirabu said. The 3 others nodded and then with the casket that carried Sasuke, they jumped away into the trees. Shikamaru tried to come up with a plan as he observed the structural components of the dome. Kiba attempted to break down the dome with his Getsuga, but it was no use, the wall was somehow regenerating itself. Shikamaru then noticed something. Kiba, use your Getsuga again, Shikamaru said. I don't know what good it'll do, but alright, Kiba said. Akamaru then transformed into a replica of Kiba and the 2 Kibas jumped into the air and became the twin gray drills that were Getsuga. The 2 then crashed into the walls. Shikamaru smiled, but then felt he was getting weaker. Neji, use your Byakugan, he said. Neji nodded and his Byakugan activated. Neji's eyes widened at what he saw. This dome is sucking out our chakra, he said, surprise evident in his voice. Shikamaru then called out to Jirabu. Hey, we surrender. If you let us out, we'll give one of our own as a truce, Shikamaru said. Everyone gasped in surprise. Chuji just ate faster to show his disapproval. Jirabu laughed from the outside of the dome. Nice offer, but I'll pass. The only time I will let you out is if I suck out all your chakra. Shikamaru-kun, how could you do that? It is most unyouthful to give up one of our own, Lee said. Shikamaru sighed as he told them to huddle up. Okay, the reason I did that was to pinpoint his location because if you had noticed, which you obviously hadn't, when Kiba used his Getsuga some parts of the wall healed slower on the farthest side of wall away from, I believe Jirabu was his name. Anyway, Chuji will now get us out, he stated. How will he get us out? Neji asked. Naruto chuckled at Neji. Neji, the reason is because that Chuji eats so much is not because he's hungry, it's to restore chakra. Haven't you noticed Chuji doesn't look the least bit fatigued, Naruto explained. The others nodded in understanding. Do it, Chuji, Naruto urged. Chuji nodded and then performed his human boulder jutsu on the far side away from Jirabu. Jirabu was mortified when he saw his beloved dome of earth crumble into rubble. Okay. Guys, go on ahead and get Sasuke. I'll handle him, Chuji said. Shikamaru was about to object when Chuji turned to him. Shikamaru, you've been a great friend and you've helped me through a lot of tough situations. But now it's my turn to help you. You and Naruto are Chunin. You guys can handle the rest, go now, Chuji said. Naruto then grabbed Shikamaru's shoulder. He's right. Chuji's not a helpless person anymore. And he's a shinobi, Naruto said. And then with one last look at Chuji, the guys jumped into the trees, leaving Chuji to fight the fat ass. Looks like I'll have some fun killing you, Jirabu said with an evil smile. Don't count your eggs before they hatch, Chuji replied, and the battle begun. A while later, the Sound Four looked back and noticed Jirabu still hadn't rejoined with them. What's taking the fat ass so fucking long, Tayuya yelled. Either the enemies got out or their chakra is taking longer to drain than anticipated, Sakan answered. Kitamaro just remained silent as he hopped through the trees. Then he stopped and surveyed the area. What's wrong, Kitamaro? Sakan asked. Kitamaro smiled and then pulled a hidden spider web in his hand. A large net then fell out of the bushes to reveal a net with Naruto and the others inside it. Looks like we got some pests, Kitamaro said. The people on the net then turned to smoke, showing they were Kagebunshins. Kitamaro then handed the casket to Sakan. Take it to Oto. I'll kill these other Gakis, he said. Sakan nodded and then he and Tayuya jumped away. Kitamaro fired a net of spider silk at the group that had just jumped out of the bush, but Niji used his jukin to cut it down. Ah, a Hyuga, this will be fun, Kitamaro said with a maniacal smile. Niji scoffed. Guys, go ahead. I'll handle this one. Naruto helped Sasuke. I looked in the barrel and saw he was trapped in darkness. You are the only one who can help him. You, after all, have better eyes than mine, Niji said with a smile. Naruto nodded and then he, Lee, Kiba, and Shikamaru raced after the other two. A few hours later. It was nighttime and the two Genin and two Chunin continued after the sound Nin in silence. Hey Naruto, why aren't we getting in on those two? I can smell them pretty well. They're only a few yards ahead of us, Kiba whispered. Naruto sighed. Because Kiba, it's night and we can't see very well in the dark. This could cause problems for us, so we'll have to wait till morning, Naruto explained. Kiba smiled. No wonder you made Chunin, Kiba said. Naruto grinned. Good news spreads fast now, doesn't it? Naruto asked. Lee nodded as they all jumped through the trees, nearing the border between Oto and Konoha. Morning. Okay guys, we're gonna ambush those two and then take Sasuke's casket and take him back to Konoha and then on the way pick up Niji and Chuji. That is if they're still with us, Shikamaru said. They're alive, I just know it. Negative thought are very unyouthful, so now we must let our youth shine through as we get Sasuke-kun back from those evil men, Lee said with fire in his eyes. Then they commenced Operation Get Sasuke. Kiba used Kagebunshin no jutsu and turned Akamaru into a perfect copy of himself. The two Kibas then kicked Sakan in the back, making him drop the casket with Sasuke inside it. Naruto then quickly caught it and threw it to Lee. Shikamaru then held back Tayuya with Kagemain no jutsu and Sakan had tackled Kiba and Akamaru into a chasm below. Lee and Naruto then hurried away, but then a shadow appeared behind them and effortlessly took back the casket. The man landed on a tree branch. He had silver hair, pale skin, and wore the same garb as the other Sound Four members. Kimimaro, Tayuya whispered. Orochimaru-sama has become impatient, so I have come to take the vessel for you four are taking too long with the delivery, Kimimaro said in a monotone. But you could tell he was furious with the progress of the four. Kimimaro then turned and headed for Oto with Naruto and Lee following close behind. Kimimaro then landed in a clearing and rested the casket on the ground. Lee and Naruto got into their fighting stances. Kimimaro then turned to them and smirked. It is time for the vessel to awaken, he said. The casket's lid then popped open by an explosion of black and purple chakra. Sasuke climbed out and gave an evil laugh. Sasuke, Naruto said. But Sasuke ignored the blonde and then jumped away in the direction of Otogakure. Naruto, go after him. I'll handle this guy, Lee said. Naruto turned at Lee and the direction Sasuke went in and then nodded. Okay, but be careful out there, bushy brows. This guy seems really strong, Naruto warned and then bounded off after Sasuke. Lee then got into his fighting stance and then rushed Kimimaro. Kimimaro was met with a kick to his stomach and skidded backwards. Kimimaro scratched his stomach. That was a good kick, but not good enough, Kimimaro said as he held out his hands. The skin and muscle then pulled back to reveal the bones of the fingertips. Lee had to steel his stomach to resist the urge to vomit his lunch. Then the fingertip bones fired off like bullets at extreme speeds. Lee dodged the finger bullets, but was unprepared for the unexpected kick to his stomach and then flew back. The wind knocked out of him as he struggled to breathe. Once he got his breath back, he got up. Nice kick, you really are strong, Lee said with a smile. May I have the honor of knowing your name? Lee asked. My name is Kagaya Kimimaro, the last of my clan, who possessed the Kekai Genkai to use our bone structure as weapons as you have just witnessed. That is the Shikatsu Miyaku / Dead Bone Pulse bloodline, Kimimaro said. What is your name? He asked. Lee then took the nice guy pose. I am Konohagakure's handsome devil, Rock Lee, the soon-to-be greatest taijutsu master in the world, Lee shouted. Fear my flames of youth, he shouted. Kimimaro's sweat dropped at the youth part. He acts like he's having a midlife crisis. But he's not even at that age yet, Kimimaro thought, but then returned to focusing on the fight. Lee then rushed Kimimaro and then while running took out a chocolate treat and unwrapped it. Gai-sensei gave this bonbon, saying it helps it enhance my abilities. Well, here I go, he thought, and then popped it into his mouth. Lee then froze, his bowl hair cut covering his eyes in a shadow. Kimimaro raised his eyebrow in confusion. /N. Seriously, how do they do that raising of one eyebrow? I mean, for us normal people to do that we have to lower the other in order to raise the other one, but they leave one eyebrow stationary while one rises. Kimimaro then walked forward cautiously and then stopped when Lee's head shot up. His eyes were half-lidded. He had a blush on his face and he was swaying from side to side like a drunken person. Oi, you bone man. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Then I'll make you eat that shit, so I beat it back out again. Lee slurred. Kimimaro's eyes widened and then he sweat dropped. The boy is drunk. But isn't he a bit underaged for that, Kimimaro thought to himself, but then drew his bone sword. Lee then rushed at god-fast speeds at Kimimaro. Kimimaro slashed his sword of bone down at Lee, but Lee did an unpredictable move of rolling between Kimimaro's legs. He then popped up behind the last Kagaya and pummeled him from behind by first starting with a punch to face followed by an uppercut to the chin, a kick to stomach, an axe kick to the head from above, and finally a rapid 14-hit punch combo to the chest followed by a kick to the stomach. Kimimaro was sent flying and was bruised from the hits. Kimimaro wiped the blood from his lip. Looks like I'll have to get serious, Kimimaro said, and then released the first stage of his Earth Curse seal. Kimimaro then picked up his bone sword and taunted with his right hand. Come, he said. Lee blinked and then drunkenly rushed the bone man. A few hours later with Kiba. Kiba was limping, clutching his stomach wound he had used to remove Yukon from his body and killed Yukon in the process while also carrying a wounded Akamaru. He was out of chakra from using his strongest technique, the Garoga/double wolf fong, which changes he and Akamaru into a giant two-headed wolf and couldn't fight back as he hid from the angry brother Sakan, who was really pissed at Kiba for killing his twin brother. Plus he was still in the second state of the curse seal, that made his hair turn longer and a darker gray. His skin turned red, teeth became fangs, nails, claws, and a large horn grew out from his forehead making him look like an Oni. Kiba then hid behind a tree and peeked and saw Sakan standing by the river looking for him. Come out, Inu team/dog bastard, I just want to avenge my brother by killing you nice and slowly, Sakan called out. Kiba remained silent, breathing quietly. Peekaboo, he heard a voice say in front of him. His eyes widened as he turned his head to come face to face with Sakan, who was still in his released form of the curse seal he bore. Sakan then took out a kunai and steadily walked towards the injured Inuzuka. Then all of a sudden a few kunai landed in front of Kiba. Kiba sniffed the air and smiled. About time you got here, Kiba called out. Then Sakan was hit by a puppet in his chest, sending him flying into a tree. Kankuro then landed in front of Kiba, Karasu still on his shoulder. But there stood a new puppet, Kurorai/Black Ant. Sakan got up, still pissed off. Who are you? He asked. Kankuro smirked. We are, Kankuro said. With Shikamaru. Shikamaru had managed to take control of Taiyuya's summons, the three giants that were all powerful by using a flash bomb to light up the area and use Kagemain no Jutsu to take control of them and turn them against their original master. Taiyuya, realizing she was at a disadvantage with her summons fighting against her, had dispelled them and then released her second state curse seal form. Her transformed body looked like a demon banshee. Taiyuya's long red hair became a darker shade of red and grew longer. Her eyes became the usual black with yellow irises and her skin turned red as well. Finally, she grew long curved horns from her head. Shikamaru had tried to kill her using his Kajikubi Shibaru no Jutsu/Shadow Neck Bind Jutsu and tried to strangle her. But her will to resist proved much stronger than he had anticipated and he ran out of chakra. Taiyuya then kicked Shikamaru in the stomach and sent him flying into the trees, breaking his finger and a rib in the process. Taiyuya then picked up her flute to prepare the final blow. But then a huge gust of wind blew and there stood Temari in front of the injured Chunin. Temari looked behind her and smiled. Looks like I came just in time, as Shikamaru, Temari said. Shikamaru smirked. So you're the backup, Naruto mentioned, Shikamaru said. He then chuckled. Troublesome. Who are you? Tayuya asked. Temari looked back at her foe. Konoha's reinforcements, she said. With Lee. Lee's bonbon effect had worn off and he was now sober, so he longer had the unpredictable movements which provided an advantage for him earlier. Kimimaro was beating him now and Lee watched in horror as the last Kaguya walked towards him, the bone sword ready to cut him in half. You fought well, Rock Lee, but it looks like that whatever you had just eaten has worn off, so time for you to die, Kimimaro said and then brought his sword down. Lee closed his eyes as he awaited the incoming pain. The pain didn't come and then Lee opened his eyes and gasped. There was a wall of sand blocking the sword strike. Lee looked to his left and his eyes widened even wider than they normally are. Gara-san, Lee said. Kimimaro stepped back and put back his spinal sword. Who are you? Kimimaro asked. Gara looked at Kimimaro, his green eyes observing the Kaguya. The Suna Shinobi, Gara replied. With Kiba. Kankuro sent Karasu and fired every single weapon at Sakan. Sakan had dodged them all, but was nicked on the neck by one the poison-covered kunai. The poison activated immediately and Sakan fell to the ground, paralyzed. What have you done to me? He screamed. I just put a paralysis poison in your system, but now you have to die, Kankuro said. Then using Karasu he knocked Sakan up. Then Kurorai's stomach opened up and Sakan landed in it. The stomach of the puppet then locked back. Kankuro then detached Karasu and each body part then released a retractable blade from the ends of the parts. The parts then flew at Kurorai and stabbed through the spaces in Kurorai's body, stabbing Sakan. Sakan screamed in pain, rather loudly too, and hen the screaming ended. Kurohiji Kiki Ipatsu / Black Secret Technique Machine One Shot, Kankuro said. The show ends, he added, and then put Karasu back together. He then helped up Kiba and then they jumped Thorug the trees to meet up with Temari and Gara. With Shikamaru. Tayuya attempted to play her flute, but Temari had been using her Kamaitashi no Jutsu to repel the sound of her flute and also attack the Otonin. Sugoi, this attack is both offensive and defensive, repelling an opponent's attacks while also sending counterattacks of slicing winds, Shikamaru said. Temari then found it was time to end this. Kuchios. Kirikiri my / summoning. Quick beheading dance, Temari yelled and swung her fan. Then a sickle-holding weasel with only one eye appeared. The weasel then flew through the forest at quick speeds, creating a huge storm of wind. The winds leveled the entire area and Tayuya was killed when a tree fell on her. And that's all she wrote, Temari said as she closed her fan. She then helped Shikamaru up and they went to go meet Gara. Back with Lee and Gara. Kimimaro jumped away and got into a stance, his sword positioned parallel to his left arm. Yanagi no my / dance of the willow, he said. Kimimaro then disappeared in a blur of speed. Kimimaro performed some powerful slashes at Gara, but his sand blocked them all. Kimimaro then tried to strike Lee, but the sand protected him too. Kimimaro then did the final move of the dance, a slash from above to the head. However, Lee thought he should return the favor to Gara and then delivered a strong kick to Kimimaro's chest, sending the Otonin back. This is getting difficult. Looks like I'll have to release my full power, he said. Gara and Lee's eyes widened as they watched the black markings of the curse mark spread across Kimimaro's body. Kimimaro's skin turned a dark brown. His hair grew longer and became a very dark shade of gray. 6 spikes made entirely of bone then emerged from his back, which looked oddly like elongated ribs. Then a long bone tail grew out from his tail bone of his spine. He then looked up at the 2 boys with the trademark yellow and black eyes of the released state of the curse seal. He looked like a fusion between a dinosaur and human. He then reached into his back and removed 2 bone swords. Tsubaki no my / dance of the camellia, he said. Kimimaro then ran forward with unbelievable speed and slashed at Gara and Lee while doing all sorts of flips, twists, tumbles and other acrobatic moves. Gara's sand was having trouble keeping up. Kimimaro then jumped back and assumed a different stance. Karamatsu no my / dance of the larch, Kimimaro said. He then put his swords back into his body and then bones started to grow from all over his body. Kimimaro then began to spin at high speeds, making him look like a gray and white top. Gara then put up a cube of sand which had some opening to see Kimimaro. This opening is too small to notice with the naked eye. Kimimaro stopped spinning and Gara released the cube. Gaara knew he had to end this thing soon, and then he made a platform of sand for him and Lee to stand on. The sand then carried the two up high into the air out of Kimimaro reach. Kimimaro watched from the ground as the two floated higher into the sky before they stopped. Kimimaro attempted to jump up after them, but felt the ground beneath him lose stability. He looked down and saw the entire earth turn to sand. Kimimaro took out his bone swords and tried to slash his way through, but the sand was too tough and Kimimaro was dragged underneath. Gaara then held out a hand and then made a fist. Uki Sabaku Soso / giant sand burial, Gaara yelled. The sand below him then imploded on itself with a loud boom. The sand crushed Kimimaro inside. Gaara panted and then began to lower the cloud of sand. He had out everything into that attack, but then he felt a chakra spike. He then began to make the cloud of sand go back up. Lee watched in awe as a mass of spikes made entirely of bone sprouted up out of the ground. They were just out of the reach of the bone forest as the bones had stretched high into the air. Lee and Gaara were exhausted, but then their eye widened when Kimimaro appeared behind them. His entire left arm was a huge spiral sword of bone that intended to skewer the two. This is my strongest technique. Sawarabi no my / dance of the seedling fern, Kimimaro said, and then was about to stab them. But then he coughed up blood and his breathing became raspy. Heh, looks like my disease has become my end after all, Kimimaro said with a chuckle and then coughed up more blood. What disease? Lee asked. It's a disease born within the Kaguya clan. There is no cure for it, and when I was found by Orochimaru-sama and Kabuto-san, they tried to nurse me back to health. But it was no use, so I try to help Orochimaru-sama by assisting in bringing back the vessel, Kimimaro said, and then with one final cough of blood he died. Gaara and Lee sighed as Kimimaro died, and then the bone forest disappeared. Gaara then made the land stable enough to land on, and then Temari, Kiba, Shikamaru, Kankuro walked up to them. Hey, you two all right? Kankuro asked. Gaara nodded and then he took out some healing supplies, but then paused. What's wrong, Gaara? Temari asked. There's something in the bushes, he said, pointing behind the group. Everyone turned and saw the bush rustle, and then Chuji and Niji fell out of the foliage. Niji, Chuji, Shikamaru called out with a grin. Niji and Chuji lifted their heads and smirked. Hey guys, Chuji said before he and Niji fainted from exhaustion. Kankuro and Shikamaru hurried over to them and healed their wounds. After a few minutes of rest, they went to go and find Naruto. They then headed to the trees. Alright, we need to help Naruto in his fight with Sasuke, Kiba declared. No, everyone else said. Kiba's sweat dropped when he heard that everyone was against him. Why not? Just because Naruto's a Chunin doesn't mean he should fight his battles alone, Kiba said. It's not that, Kiba. It's because Naruto is the only one who can fight Sasuke, Shikamaru said. Yeah, Kiba-san, Naruto-kun is not so selfish, but I think he feels as if he's the only one who can fight Sasuke-kun, Lee said. Don't doubt Naruto. He knows what he's doing, Gaara added, and then reached outside the forest to find themselves in front of a flowing river that fell into a waterfall. On the left and right sides of the waterfall were giant stoats. On the left was Uchiha Madara and on the right was the Shodame Hokage. Their eyes widened when they saw a figure standing on each statue. Naruto on the Shodame's and Sasuke with his back to Naruto on Madara's. Sasuke, where do you think you're going? Come back home with me, Naruto yelled. Sasuke paused in his walk and then turned to face him. Naruto gasped. Sasuke's left eye was completely black and had a yellow iris. So it's you this time, Adobe, Sasuke said. Naruto glared as he remembered Sakura's words to him, his pupils becoming slitted in anger. Sasuke, don't you see what they're doing to you? Orochimaru only wants you for your body. He wants your Sharingan, Naruto yelled. Sasuke glared at Naruto with gritted teeth. Naruto, I'm only going so I can gain the power to control this mark on my neck. If I do that, I will have the power to kill Itachi, and when I'm done with Orochimaru, I'm coming back to Konoha, Sasuke yelled. Naruto's eyes widened before he glared at his best friend. Sasuke, why go to the Hibi team? We can help you, Naruto cried. Shikamaru, Chuji, Lee, Kiba, and Niji. They all risked their lives for you and you're just going to walk away. Shut up, you dobe. Just go back home and leave me alone, Sasuke said and then turned away. He had only taken a few steps before he saw a shadow descend from above. He turned to see Naruto tackle him to the ground. Does Konoha mean nothing to you? Naruto said, holding Sasuke by the collar on the ground, his right fist poised to strike. Kuso, Just leave me alone, Sasuke yelled. When Naruto heard that, he snapped and then punched Sasuke in the face. Sasuke looked back at Naruto, blood flowing from his burst lip. He then spit the blood in Naruto's face. You know, we were interrupted last time. Now we can fight without any distractions, Sasuke said, and then grabbed Naruto by the collar. Naruto was hoisted up, and then Sasuke gave an evil grin and then gave a strong punch to Naruto's stomach. Naruto coughed up blood and then flew into the river below. Sasuke looked at his hand and smiled. So this is the power of the curse mark. If I learn to control it, how powerful will I be? Sasuke asked himself, but then winced in pain and his left eye became normal onyx again. The others were hiding in the bushes and gasped when they saw Naruto fall into the river. Sasuke's gotten stronger, Lee said. The others nodded and then returned to watching when they saw Naruto climb out of the water and stood on it. Naruto's learned water walking, I see, Gaara said. Wow, I want to learn that, Kiba said. Naruto glared at Sasuke and then ran up to Sasuke and then jumped up, but Sasuke intercepted him and kicked Naruto in the face. As Naruto fell, he made the trademark cross-shaped seal. Kagebunshin no jutsu, he yelled, and then the clones came to life in a puff of smoke. The Narutos then joined together to form ladder when one jabbed a kunai into the face of Madara's statue. The clone ladder then swung upwards and Naruto kicked Sasuke in his face and then landed back on the statue. Did I wake you up? Naruto growled. Sasuke got up and wiped the blood off of his face. Yeah, I've been wide awake to what I want to do now. I want to defeat you, Naruto, Sasuke yelled. Naruto gasped and then his eyes flashed red in anger. Sasuke, don't you have any dreams for the future? If you do, we can accomplish them together back in Konoha, Naruto said. Look, Naruto, I have no dreams in the future, Sasuke said. Naruto became silent. My dreams are rooted only in the past, he said quietly as he remembered the times before and during the Uchiha massacre. Chapter 19. Loss of a brother. Last time on Naruto the Elemental Fox. Uchiha Sasuke has fled the village of Konohagakure in order to gain the power to control the curse sickle of heaven placed on his neck. When Tsunade tells this news to Naruto, Naruto becomes furious. Then Naruto, Rock Lee, Nara Shikamaru, Inuzuka Kiba, Hyuga Neji and Akimichi Chuji set off to get Sasuke. Naruto promises to Sakura that he would bring Sasuke back, but not without injury. Along the way, the group meets the challenges of the traps ahead, but manages to bypass them safely. They are then captured by Jirabu, but manage to break free with Chuji willing to stay behind. Neji then willingly stays behind to fight off Kitamaro. The two manage to win, but not without being heavily injured. Chuji and Neji meet up with each other and then move up to catch up with the others. The next day, the remainder of the group formulate a plan which succeeds in getting back Sasuke, but then a new foe arrives, Kimimaro, a former member of the Sound Four. Shikamaru manages to hold off Tayuya and Kiba with Sakan and Yukon. Sasuke awakens from his casket and heads off in the direction of Otogakure with Naruto following behind. Lee is then left alone to face this new foe. Later on, the Konoha team seems to have assured victory, but then the Sound Nin release the second state of their curse marks. When it seems all hope is lost, Gaara and his siblings arrive to save them and kill their respective opponents. Neji and Chuji meet up with the others and then find Naruto and Sasuke engaged in serious conversation. Now that Naruto has caught up with his friend, they fight a short scuffle, but after that Sasuke begins to remember the days when the Uchiha massacre started. Flashback. A young 8-year-old Sasuke watched from behind a tree as his Aniki practiced his kunai accuracy training. Itachi stood behind a large boulder, kunai at the ready. The wind blew, signaling for Itachi to start. Itachi jumped up, his eyes closed, and then fire off 2 kunai from each hand. Then he removed some more from his pockets and threw them, making them ricochet of the others. Finally, Itachi does a few flips and twists, throwing some more before landing gracefully on his feet, opening his eyes to reveal the mature Sharingan of the 13-year-old Chunin. Sasuke gasped in awe and saw that all the kunai had hit every single bullseye of the wooden targets behind the rock. Sugoi, Aniki, you hit all the targets in the blind spot behind that rock, Sasuke exclaimed. Itachi smiled as he looked at his Otutu exaggerate about his skills. Aniki, can you help with my shuriken training now? Sasuke asked using the Kawaii no Jutsu. Itachi was a master at ignoring that technique, so he just smiled and motioned for Sasuke to come. Sasuke smiled and ran up to Itachi and was met with a jab to the forehead. Gomen nasai Sasuke. Demo maybe next time, Itachi said with a sad smile. Sasuke huffed angrily before taking out his shuriken. Sasuke then jumped up. Itachi's eyes widened. No, Sasuke. You'll hurt yourself, Itachi cried. But it was too late as the training ground was full of the painful cry of Sasuke breaking his ankle. Streets of Konoha. Sasuke was riding piggyback as Itachi carried him through the streets of Konoha. Sasuke chuckled. Itachi looked back. Don't think you're getting a free ride. I could drop off right here and make you walk home, Itachi joked. Sasuke shook his head saying that wasn't why. It's just that I'll be going to attend Ninja Academy tomorrow, and I'm really excited, Sasuke said with a smile. Sasuke then noticed the police station where his father worked. He then looked a bit puzzled and cocked his to the side when he saw the Uchiha crest on the police force's own. Itachi and why is our clan symbol on the crest of the police force? Sasuke asked. Itachi stopped and looked up at the crest. Well, you see, Sasuke, during the time of the Shodame Hokage, the Uchihas and the Senjus, Shodame's clan, had formed an alliance and formed what is Konoha today. But the Uchihas found that they didn't have any form of responsibility for the village and began to become angered. The Shodame then gave them the job of solving Shinobi crime and capturing those made those crimes. So it could be said that our clan founded the police force, and that is why the Uchiha crest is rested proudly on the crest of the police force, Itachi explained. Sasuke was awestruck. When I grow up, I'm going to join the police force so I can be great just like you and father, Sasuke said with joy. Itachi smiled at his little brother's antics and then walked back to the Uchiha compound. At the Uchiha compound, Uchiha Mikoto, Sasuke and Itachi's mother, sat with Sasuke and helped to heal his injured ankle. Now don't put a lot of pressure on it, okay? Mikoto said and then left. Sasuke nodded and then left. He got up and heard from Itachi that Uchiha Fugaku, Sasuke and Itachi's father, also leader of the Uchiha clan, was asking for them. Itachi and Sasuke sat on the floor before their father. Itachi, I'm here to talk to you about the mission you will be performing tomorrow. Of this, a successful entrance into the Umbu Black Ops organization will be assured, Fugaku said. Sasuke thought it was time for him to speak. Father, I just want you to know that my Ninja Academy, Sasuke began, but was interrupted by his father. Since this mission is important to the clan, I will also be attending it, Fugaku said. And oh, Itachi said. Fugaku's and Sasuke's eyes widened. Why not? Fugaku asked angrily. Because I will be going to see Sasuke's academy entrance ceremony tomorrow, Itachi said. Fugaku sighed. No, I'll go, you have that mission to do, Fugaku said and then got up and left. Sasuke then looked at his father before he and Itachi got up to leave as well. The next day, Ninja Academy. So I would like to welcome all our aspiring students and hope they become the greatest shinobi of their generation, Sarutobi said. As he finished his speech, the audience applauded and then went to meet the teachers. Sasuke looked at his father, who had a disappointed look on his face. Then Sasuke and his father walked up to the instructor. Fugaku-san, long time no see. Looks like I'll be teaching one of you again, he said. He then looked at Sasuke. You remind me of Itachi. I expect great things from you. Sasuke, the teacher said. Sasuke nodded. You honor us by teaching both sons, Fugaku said. The instructor waved his hand. No, not all. Itachi was one of the most gifted children I ever taught. We barely had to teach him anything, the instructor said. The Uchihas then left to go back to their compound. Uchiha compound. It was nighttime and Sasuke couldn't sleep, so he got up to take a walk. Then as he was walking around the compound, he heard voices coming from inside his father's chambers. He then opened the door quietly, and only just enough for him to see. He saw his mother, father, and Itachi in there. That's my boy, entering the Umbu Black Ops at such a young age, Fugaku said with a smile, but then became serious. Itachi, you must remember that the mission you will be doing in a few days is vital to the clan. You are the pipeline between the clan and the village's nerve center. Itachi nodded before looking at the door through the corner of his eye. Go back to bed, Sasuke, Itachi said. Fugaku's and Mikoto's eyes widened and then looked towards the door. Sasuke, what are you doing up? Go back to bed, Fugaku said. Listen to your Oto-san, Sasuke, Mikoto said. Sasuke nodded. Yes, mother, father, he said and then walked away. Mateo, Sasuke, Itachi called as he walked out. Sasuke turned and walked back to Itachi, who motioned for him to sit down with him. You envy me, don't you, Sasuke? Itachi asked. Sasuke looked up surprised at Itachi's question. Don't deny it, Otutu. I can see it your eyes. Sasuke looked up at the shining moon and nodded. Itachi sighed. Well, Sasuke, it's the job of Aniki's to be the one who is better than the younger one. I'm always going to be the wall you have to scale in order for you to become better, Itachi said, smiling. Sasuke looked back at Itachi and smiled too. Sasuke yawned before getting up to go to bed. Itachi watched Sasuke walk off before his face became serious and walked off. 1 year later, Sasuke's first of academy training finished. Okay people, now that you all have finished your first year here at Ninja Academy, I will now give to you your report cards, the instructor said as he passed out the cards. Sasuke eagerly waited for his and then quickly looked through it, and a wide grin spread across his face. He had placed first in all his classes. When the school day finished, he hurriedly went home to show his father. Uchiha compound. Sasuke sat nervously as his father looked through his report card. Fugaku looked up at Sasuke before continuing his look at the card. He then handed the card back to Sasuke. Good job. Keep this up and you'll be amazing just like your Aniki, Fugaku said, and then left the room. Sasuke remained there for a while. That's my boy, is what I wanted to hear you say, Sasuke thought with a somber look before he got up and left to go eat dinner. Later after dinner, Sasuke and Makoto sat alone at the table as Itachi and Fugaku left on missions. Sasuke, why the long face? Makoto asked her son. Sasuke sighed. It's just that, I want to know why Ota-san only focuses so much on Itachi. He never has any time for me, Sasuke complained. Makoto looked down at her youngest son. It's just that Itachi's older. Sasuke, also your Otout-san is head of the clan, so he has to uphold certain responsibilities and has to focus more in Itachi, who's in the Umbu, Makoto explained. Sasuke sighed again. His mother wasn't helping. Besides, when he's with me he only talks about you, Makoto said with a smile. Sasuke looked up at his mother and then smiled. The next day. It was a beautiful morning and everyone was doing their usual routine. Sasuke was inside watching television. It was a Pokemon episode. Pikachu had been kidnapped by Team Rocket again and were floating from a cliff. Ash then jumped 50 feet off the ground and a length of over 20 feet. How does a normal person like Ash jump so far and high when he's not a ninja? Sasuke asked himself as he continued watching Team Rocket blast off again. Then there was a knock at the door. Sasuke was about to answer it when Itachi walked in. I'll get it, he said. Sasuke had turned off the TV to watch who Itachi was talking to. Ohio, Uchiha Tekka, Inabi and Yashiro, he greeted his fellow clansmen. Why are you here? He asked. Tekka pulled a note out of his pocket. You and Shursui were the only ones who didn't show up at the meeting yesterday. This is a note saying Shursui committed suicide by drowning himself in the Nakano River, Tekka said, giving it to Itachi. He was your best friend. You two were like brothers, Inabi said. Yes, it was heartbreaking to hear about his death, Itachi said with a sad look. Sasuke's eyes widened. Uchiha Shursui was dead. Itachi then read the note. I tired of this life. There is no life for me or Uchiha while I'm here. Goodbye, he read. Shursui was the best ever at teleportation and always willing to do missions for the sake of the clan. It's not possible for him to just throw away his life like this, Yashiro said. Well, you can't judge people by appearances, Itachi said. Then his eyes widened. What are you assuming? He asked, glaring at the three Uchiha. Itachi, it is our job as the police to stop shinobi crime in the village of Konoha, Inabi said. The three then turned to leave. Don't destroy the note. If you do, we'll know, Tekka said. Why don't you just say it, Itachi said. Tekka, Inabi and Yashiro paused and then turned. Their Sharingan activated. You think I did this? He growled, his Sharingan spinning wildly. In face we do, Tekka said. Sasuke watched in horror as Itachi and the others fought and Itachi was winning. Wham! Bam! Pow! Smash! Crunch! Itachi then stood over the defeated Uchiha. Like I said, don't judge people by appearances, Itachi growled. Itachi, stop this insolence at once, Fugaku said, appearing to the scene. Itachi looked at his father and glared. You people are fools, only focusing on the clan. That is when you lose sight of what is truly important, Itachi said and took out a kunai. My abilities are repressed by this pathetic clan, Itachi added as he threw it into the wall, right in the center of a painting of an Uchiha fan. Itachi, Sasuke whispered. Itachi looked at his brother's face. It was full sadness and fear. Itachi's fierce look vanished and then he bowed down. Gomen Uchiha-sama, please forgive me for irresponsible behavior, Itachi said. Fugaku looked at his son and saw the bags under his eyes. It seems he's been tired out by the Umbu mission load, he said. Fugaku-sama, demo. Tekka started, but remained silent when he saw Fugaku raise his hand. I'll handle my sum here, you three can go. Tekka and Yashiro helped up Inabi and looked down at Itachi. Itachi, when the four Uchiha's backs were turned, resumed his fierce glare at their backs. Then his Sharingan tomos began to join together, forming a shuriken-like shape. Sasuke gasped at this Sharingan's fearsome form, and then went back inside to lie down and think about the events that had happened before him. The next day. It was night time and Sasuke was returning home from the academy. He looked around and then he saw something standing perched on the electrical pole that looked vaguely like a human. Sasuke blinked, not sure of what he saw, but when he did, the thing vanished. Sasuke shrugged and continued walking, but then he tripped over something. He got up and saw it was the dead bodies of his aunt and uncle. Sasuke gasped and looked around. He saw the numerous dead bodies of all the Uchiha clan members littering the streets of the compound. He ran to his part of the compound and walked into his house, but when he came to parents' room he felt a large amount of bloodlust and killer intent. He steeled his will and opened the door slowly. He gasped and his eyes went wide. His mother's neck had been slit, the blood spilling out of her trachea, and his father's corpse looked a bit bruised, meaning he put up a fight. But he lost, seeing as how his body was covered with huge numbers of lacerations and his stomach was cut open, showing the intestines falling out. Sasuke tried not to vomit, but he did, spilling the contents of his stomach on the floor and gasped for breath. Then he looked up and saw movement in the shadows. The thing moved into the moonlight, revealing Itachi. Itachi and Iasan, what happened? Who would do such a thing? He asked frantically, then noticed the blood dripping from his Aniki's sword. Sasuke's eyes widened and looked at his brother like he didn't know the older Uchiha anymore. Sasuke rose up from his fetal state on the floor. This is all probably one huge nightmare and I'll wake up soon, Sasuke told himself, but felt pain when a shuriken was thrown, courtesy of Itachi. Sasuke looked at his cheek as the blood dripped across his face, smelling the metallic scent of it. Sasuke then grew angry and foolishly charged the older Uchiha and was quickly batted to the floor. Sasuke grew very scared as his Aniki released a very large amount of killer intent and ran outside. He ran and ran and ran. I don't want to die. I don't want to die, Sasuke said with tears on his eyes. Itachi then shooshined in front of him, and then Sasuke stared into the eyes of Itachi's Sharingan, the Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke then looked around. The sky was red. The moon was black, and then he saw his clan members being slaughtered by Itachi's blade. This is what happened to them, Otutu, Itachi said, as he released Sasuke from the Tsukuyomi Genjutsu. Sasuke fell to the ground and looked back at his brother. Listen to me, Sasuke. These eyes I have are known as the Mangekyo Sharingan, the highest level of ocular vision an Uchiha can obtain, and the only way to do is… Itachi took a pause. Sasuke listened with tears in his eyes. To kill your best friend, Itachi finished. Sasuke's eyes widened. So why you killed Shisui? Sasuke asked. Itachi nodded. Then why didn't you kill me, and why did you kill everyone in the clan? Sasuke asked. I killed the clan to test my abilities with my new eyes, and I didn't kill you because you are not worth killing, so if you want to defeat me, foster your hatred for me, despise me, and then when you have eyes like mine, then you can fight me, Itachi said, and then a raven flew in front of Sasuke and Itachi was gone. End flashback. During the flashback, Shikamaru, Gaara, and the others steadily walked forward to get a closer look, standing at the edge of the cliff, a few feet away from Shodime's statue, giving a good angle of the entire Valley of the End. Sasuke opened his eyes to show his Sharingan, staring at Naruto. Sasuke then shunshined in front of Naruto and knocked him down the waterfall. Sasuke then used his chakra and stuck to the waterfall. Naruto fell and made a string of hand signs when he hit the ground. Suten, Tsuryuden no Jutsu, he yelled, and then the biggest water dragon Naruto had ever made, the length of the waterfall, rose out of the river and headed straight for Sasuke. Sasuke had managed to copy the jutsu, but he knew he couldn't use it and dodged the dragon. Sasuke landed on the water at the base of the waterfall and formed 3 hand signs, and the Chidori burst to life. Naruto then held out his hand and the Rasengan swirled into his hand. Naruto and Sasuke then ran at each other, their respective attacks ready to clash. Naruto and Sasuke then moved their hand with their respective jutsus back and thrust them forwards. Rasengan, Naruto yelled. Chidori, Sasuke yelled. The two chakra attacks clashed, and then the water beneath swirled around them and burst away, showing the river floor below them as they floated in midair from the wind kicked up by their attacks. The chakra backlash was immense, and then a huge explosion occurred. "Do you want to go help Naruto now, Kiba?" Gaara asked. Kiba shook his head along with Akamaru. "No," Kiba said in a frightened voice as he saw Naruto and Sasuke fly away from each other from the explosion. Chapter 20. Hawk vs. Fox, Clash of the Titans. Naruto flew back a good couple of feet, and Sasuke flew back into the waterfall before the force of the rushing waters forced him down under. "This is really intense," Chuji said as he chewed some chips from his bag of barbecue chips. Kiba took some to eat for watching the show. Sasuke climbed back up out of the water and stood back up, panting. Naruto floated up and looked at Sasuke from his laid-down position. "I was at full power when my Chidori clashed with his jutsu. Damn you, Naruto," Sasuke thought. "Looks like you really want to kill me," as Naruto thought as he got up. Sasuke then rushed Naruto and cocked his fist back. Since his Sharingan was now complete, he could see Naruto's moves before they happened. Naruto was about to block it with his leg, but Sasuke saw that and twisted to the side and crashed his fist into the blonde's face. Naruto groaned in pain. Sasuke then followed up with a punch to the stomach and then a kick, sending Naruto back. Naruto's eyes flashed red, and then he rushed forwards and made hand signs. "Hayatan. Hyoryuenden no Jutsu," Naruto yelled and breathed out an icy cold breath, which then formed into a shining winged dragon. The dragon gave a roar, but Sasuke countered by making a few hand signs. "Katan. Kagebunshin no Jutsu," Sasuke yelled, and the fire dragon flew out of his mouth and the two elements clashed in a battle, but the fire dragon obviously won. Sasuke smirked, but the steam that was made gave Naruto an opening and he punched Sasuke in the stomach. Sasuke gasped as the wind was knocked out of his lungs. Naruto then followed up with a punch to the face and uppercut to the chin. He then kicked Sasuke higher upwards. Naruto jumped up and caught Sasuke by the ankles and did a few front flips, gaining momentum before he slammed Sasuke's back into the water. Sasuke groaned in pain as Naruto had kicked him away. Sasuke recovered and skidded along the water's surface. "I see you've gotten better," Naruto Sasuke said as his curse mark released into its first state, the flame markings spreading like a wildfire. Naruto grinned, his electric blue eyes staring back into Sasuke's ruby red ones. "You think I'd come after you without training?" Naruto said. Sasuke and Naruto then rushed each other. Punches banged against each other and kicks flew as the taijutsu fight dragged on. Naruto then jumped back and then formed some hand signs. "Suetun. Sudapadama/water style. Water bullet," Naruto said. Then he fired a number of water projectiles at Sasuke from his mouth. Sasuke then jumped above them and then formed his own number of hand signs. "Katan. Gokakyu no Jutsu," Sasuke yelled, and the giant ball of fire flew out of Sasuke's mouth, barreling towards Naruto. Naruto gasped as he was hit with the fireball. Sasuke grinned as he looked behind and saw Naruto rise out of the water. Sasuke took this chance to clobber Naruto. Naruto looked up and tried to block Sasuke's kick after getting out, but Sasuke's Sharingan foresaw that, and he then shunshined behind Naruto and punched him on the back of his head. He then jumped and delivered a kick to the fallen boy's back. Naruto screamed in pain, and then Sasuke picked up the fallen Namikaze by his hair. An evil smile spread across his face as the dark purple chakra of the cursed seal surrounded him. Sasuke then delivered a strong kick to Naruto's temple, and then ran at a fast speed to punch Naruto in the stomach. Naruto gasped in pain. Naruto was then caught by his throat and held a few inches off the water. Naruto then splashed into water. "Mizubunshin," Sasuke growled. Sasuke was then met with a chakra-enhanced kick to his face, sending him crashing into the cliff wall. Naruto then removed Sasuke from the wall and slammed back into it over and over again before kicking him up the wall. Sasuke flipped and stuck to the wall with his chakra and then ran back down the wall. Naruto ran to meet the Uchiha, but Sasuke's Sharingan saw every move Naruto made. Sasuke dodged and countered with every kick and punch Naruto threw at him. Sasuke then kicked Naruto away and tried to punch him, but Naruto jumped back, landing on the water's surface. Sasuke then formed some hand signs. "Katan. Housenka no Jutsu/fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu," Sasuke yelled and then blew out a few small fireballs. Naruto jumped above the fireballs, but Sasuke quickly appeared next to Naruto and kicked the blonde in the head, sending him downwards, crashing onto the water. Sasuke then punched Naruto in the face and then in the stomach. Naruto was being pummeled and his friends, which were watching from above, could do nothing about it. I wish we could help him, but knowing him, he wouldn't want us to interfere, Lee said with anime tears dripping down his face. Sasuke then grabbed Naruto by the throat, a chidori blazing in his hand. Sasuke smiled evilly, but didn't notice the red-orange chakra flowing out of Naruto. Naruto's canines enlarged and his nails became claws. Looks like you lose now, Naruto, Sasuke said, and then he thrust the chidori forward. Naruto's eyes widened. The Kyuubi's eyes replaced his own. The blood flew and Sasuke stood. A chidori was sticking out of Naruto's chest. Sasuke smiled as he removed the arm. Looks like you managed to move my arm, so I didn't hit your heart. But now you're out an arm and a lung, Sasuke said. So forget about making hand signs or that chakra jutsu you used in the beginning. He then proceeded to choke the remaining life out of Naruto. Sasuke's arm was suddenly hurting and saw Naruto's hand was crushing it. Sasuke removed his arm and releasing Naruto's grip. Sasuke looked at the blonde and saw red chakra leaking off of him. His eyes widened when he saw the chest wound smoking as it healed in a matter of seconds. I see that your bijou is helping you now. At least I can fight you at full power, Sasuke said. Naruto then looked at the Uchiha. The blood-red, slitted eyes of the Kyuubi no Kitsune stared deep into Sasuke's three-tomoed Sharingan. Sasuke stared at the Jinchuriki and gasped as the chakra formed a huge image of the Kyuubi no Kitsune behind Naruto, which then encircled around him and gave Naruto the look of a tailless Kitsune. Naruto then gave a roar. The chakra he gave off created a shock wave which kicked up a wave of water headed for Sasuke. The wave blocked Sasuke's vision and Sasuke was met with a lunge to the face followed by a kick to the stomach, and then he was punched upwards and then got an uppercut delivered to his chin, ending with Naruto slamming an axe kick into the Uchiha's face. Sasuke landed on the water's surface due to his water walking technique. He then saw Naruto jump up to deliver a blow. Sasuke then formed some hand signs and blew out a keton Gukakeu no jutsu at the Jinchuriki. Naruto then took a deep breath and roared, sending out a chakra pulse, completely destroying the fireball while still continuing his descent. Naruto then smashed his elbow into Sasuke's stomach, sending him below the waters of the river. A perfect hole was made as Sasuke went down, like a water tunnel. Naruto then gave a bestial roar to the heavens. The amount of chakra Kyuubi had given him had made his instincts purely primal. Amazing, Naruto's chakra suddenly spiked to a large amount, Kiba said. Neji activated his Byakugan and stared at Naruto. His chakra is the same as when he fought in our battle, except Naruto seems to have no control over his movements. It's as if something else is moving him like an animal. Pure instinct and adrenaline is driving Naruto, Neji said. It's the Kyuubi, Shikamaru said. The others all looked at the boy genius. What do you mean, Shikamaru-san? Lee asked. Shikamaru turned to them. Well, besides you Tsunagais, have you all ever noticed how Naruto had been getting glares from the villagers before the Chunin exams? Shikamaru asked. The Konoha Nin shook their heads. Shikamaru sighed. Well, I think the signs were obvious, the glares Naruto got, the villagers calling him demon, Kyubigaki, and other things, also the fact that he was the only child born during the Kyuubi's attack 13 years ago, Shikamaru said. The others nodded in understanding. I see. Well, why didn't he tell us? Chuji asked. Oh, come on, Chuji, think logically here. Wouldn't you want to keep the fact that you held the most powerful bijou in your stomach with a seal a secret? Shikamaru asked. Chuji nodded in understanding before looking back to the fight. He also probably thought we wouldn't be his friends anymore out of fear for Kyuubi, Shikamaru added. Well, after this fight and he kicked Sasuke's ass, we need to tell him that we would always be there for him. Just because he has the Kyuubi doesn't mean we fear him, Kiba said. Hi. His flames of youth are extraordinary, Lee said. He's a hero, Neji said as he watched the fight. Sasuke then burst out of the water and ran at Naruto. But Naruto had run up onto the cliff's wall and delivered a kick. Sasuke saw the kick coming and was able to dodge it and deliver a kick of his own. Naruto then quickly recovered, faster than Sasuke expected, and kicked the Uchiha downwards into the water. Naruto then dived in after Sasuke like a torpedo and then punched Sasuke's face, stomach and back before kicking him upwards into the cliff wall. Naruto then jumped out and crashed into Sasuke, pushing him further back into the cliff's exterior wall. Come home now, Sasuke, Naruto growled. Why do you fight so hard for me? He whispered. Naruto blinked. What? He asked. Sasuke kicked Naruto off, who used his chakra to stick to the wall to keep from falling. Why do you fight so hard for me? You never had any family and you were alone from the beginning. Besides, you can't even understand my pain. Sasuke yelled as he crawled out of his crater, sticking to the cliff using chakra. Naruto looked down with a sad look and then looked back up with a sad smile. Actually, I understand more than you think. My father died fighting Kagebunshin when he was brainwashed and my mother died giving birth to me. Do you know who they are? He asked Sasuke. Sasuke shook his head. My parents were Uzumaki Kushina, the head of the entire Umbu division, and my father was Namikaze Minato, Yandame Hokage aka Yellow Flash, Naruto said. Sasuke's eyes widened. You lie, your parents could never be such powerful people. You're a dobe and you always will be, Sasuke said. Besides, you didn't answer my question. Well, you can choose to believe it or not. But as for why I fight so hard for you, Naruto paused, his red eyes blinked to prevent tears. Well, you see, when I'm with Iruka-sensei, I see him as an Aniki. When I'm with Ero-sanin, Jiraiya as you may know him, he's like an uncle, Kyuubi is a father, and as for you, when I'm with you, like a brother, and that is why I can't let you go to scum like Orochimaru, Naruto said. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to sever those bonds, he said, and then took out his Konoha Hitai-8. If Konoha means nothing to you, then why are you putting on the Hitai-8? Naruto asked. I'll admit you're strong, not because of Kyuubi, for you had managed to hold your own against my curse seal level 1, also because you know the pain of being alone. That feeling makes people stronger, and when you make bonds and sever them you become stronger, Sasuke said, tying the Hitai-8 around his forehead and releasing his curse seal. Looks like nothing I say will sway you. Isn't that right, Sasuke? Naruto growled. Sasuke just got into a fighting stance and motioned for Naruto to come. Naruto then stepped forward, rushing at god-fast speeds. Naruto then made some Kagebunshins to distract Sasuke. The original held back while the clones attacked. Sasuke blocked all the clones' moves when they attacked and then countered back with kicks and punches of his own. Then, when they were destroyed, Naruto had finished his hand signs. Kainton. Sum no Kitsune, Naruto yelled. Then the earth enveloped Naruto's hands, forming claws where his fingers were. The rocks fell off to reveal the silver, shining metal that were the claws. Sasuke looked at Naruto in surprise. What are you? Your friend, Naruto replied, and then sped at Sasuke. Sasuke had managed to dodge all of the attacks, but he made the mistake of trying to block it. He took out a kunai, but the metal fox claws cut right through the knife like a knife through butter and slashed Sasuke's arm, making it bleed. Sasuke jumped back as Naruto swiped at him again and again. Naruto then relinquished his claws and formed more hand signs. Kainton, Kaneshibaru no Jutsu, Naruto yelled, and then metal chains rose up from the ground and latched onto Sasuke's limbs, immobilizing the young Uchiha. Naruto then formed more hand signs. Hayaton, Tsubami Fubuki no Jutsu / Ice Style. Swallow Attack Jutsu, Naruto yelled. Then the air condensed around him and the small birds of ice were formed and then immediately rammed into Sasuke, cutting him all over his torso. Sasuke grunted in pain as the ice birds sliced at him. Naruto then formed more hand signs. Kainton, Kaneryuden no Jutsu, Naruto said, and then a large dragon made of metal rose out of the earth and barreled towards Sasuke, kicking up the earth as it smashed into him. Sasuke screamed in pain as the metallic reptile hit his stomach, making him cough up blood. But Naruto didn't stop there. He released his metal bindings and grabbed Sasuke by the collar and then threw him down into the river and landed with a painful splash. Sasuke painfully got up and then watched Naruto dive into the water. Sasuke then got into his family taijutsu stance. Those jutsus, ice and metal, how is he able to do that? It's just not possible for someone to make such jutsus, Sasuke thought as he looked at the large slash mark on his arm from the Tsum no Kitsune. Then he heard a bubbling from below. Naruto Kagebunshins popped up and flew at the young Uchiha. Sasuke then flipped and jumped, kicking and punching the Kagebunshins as they came at him from all angles. The only reason he wasn't able to block Naruto's other attacks was due to vision blocking and surprise, but now he could face off against all these Kagebunshins. Well, hard luck, Sasuke. Surprise. Sasuke killed all the Kagebunshins jumping out at him, but then a pair of hands grabbed his ankles. Sasuke looked down and then Naruto pulled him down. Then a chain of Kagebunshins rose up out of the water, spinning like a blue cyclone, and then with one final spin of momentum, the Kagebunshins extended a chain, the original Naruto still holding on to Sasuke's ankles. They then slammed Sasuke with terrible force into the side of a rock formation sticking out of the cliff. Sasuke had coated himself with chakra to reduce the pain and then formed hand signs. Katon, Ryuka no Jutsu, Sasuke shouted, and then a long stream of fire burned the whole chain of Narutos. Then Sasuke gasped in surprise and then saw the original Naruto, severely burned. As a Sugoi, Naruto stuttered out from the pain of the molten rock against his skin. Sasuke then threw Naruto off the cliff so that he fell headfirst. It's too late for you now, Naruto. Sasuke yelled and then jumped after the blonde and then caught up with Naruto's body as it descended, and then wrapped his arms around Naruto's legs and his legs around the blonde's neck. Then Sasuke blew a fireball out of his mouth to speed their descent, and then they crashed into the ground below. Debris flew everywhere when the impact occurred with Naruto's head and the earth. Naruto's eyes were empty and soulless when Sasuke let go of the Jinchuriki's body and he fell into the flowing river. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto was in his mindscape unconscious and floated up to the surface of the koi fish pond Kyuubi always looked into. Kyuubi gasped when he saw the unconscious Naruto. Naruto, Kit, speak to me, Kyuubi said. But Naruto gave no response. Kyuubi then growled as he got angry at the Uchiha for hurting his Kit. Don't worry, Kit, we'll beat that Uchiha. Just let me give you some more of my chakra, Kyuubi said, the yukai flaring up as he transferred it into Naruto. Outside Naruto's mindscape. Sasuke had walked up to Naruto's floating body to check to see if he had survived the fall. But then as he got closer, red chakra began to bubble up and surround Naruto. Sasuke was frozen to the spot from the bloodlust generated from Naruto. The bubbles then surrounded more of Naruto's body and lifted him off the water's surface. Then Naruto punched Sasuke in the face, sending the Uchiha flying. The chakra cloak continued to envelope Naruto until it surrounded his entire body. The tailless kitsune cloak returned, but then yukai continued to bubble up, for at Naruto's head 2 long chakra ears grew and at his rear, a chakra tail emerged. The one-tailed Naruto got to all fours, the chakra steaming the water as it came in contact. Dark marks surrounded his eyes and mouth. His canines grew even larger and sharper. His claws too. Sasuke looked at him with awe. Man, I'm guessing Kyuubi doesn't want to lose, Sasuke said, and then released his curse seal to its first stage again. Ketan, Hausenka no Jutsu, Sasuke yelled and shot the fireballs at Naruto. Naruto then ran on all fours like a fox and avoided the fireballs and then headed straight for Sasuke. Kyuso, he's coming this way, Sasuke said as he made some more hand signs. Katan, Karawenden no Jutsu, Sasuke yelled and the fire dragon shot off. But then Naruto formed a ball of blue and white flame in his chakra paw. Phoenix raising Kafuria no Jutsu / Phoenix spiraling fire flare. Naruto roared and then the ball of fire and the dragon collided, creating an explosion. Sasuke thought the explosion would at least injure Naruto, but his eyes widened when he saw the smoke clear and Naruto was completely unharmed. Is that cloak protecting him? He asked himself. Naruto then rushed him and prepared to slash Sasuke. But then as he was running, Sasuke's Sharingan predicted Naruto's next move. Naruto would Shunshin behind him. Sasuke ducked and the chakra paw was avoided. But then Sasuke was struck as the chakra cloak's pole removes itself from Naruto's hand and slashed his face. Chakra branching. This thing is too unpredictable for my Sharingan to see, but I guess if I keep my distance nothing will happen to me, Sasuke said as he went to wipe the blood flowing from his slash mark. Sasuke tried to raise his hand, but he found that he couldn't and his arms were bound. He looked at Naruto and found his arm outstretched. Sasuke looked down at his body cautiously and gasped when he saw the large chakra pole wrapped around his body. Naruto then pulled his arm and Sasuke was dragged towards Naruto, who had then punched Sasuke in his face. But Naruto didn't let go, instead he threw Sasuke up and performed hand signs. Kainton, Sum no Kitsune, Naruto growled, and then the metal claws surround Naruto's paws, making them even more deadly as the Kyuubi's chakra superheated them to extreme levels. Sasuke was in too much pain and he fell. Naruto then jumped up and slashed at Sasuke multiple times and then landed back on his feet as Sasuke fell onto the water. It as though nothing had happened. But then Sasuke's body was splashed in blood as numerous lacerations covered his body along with some second-degree burns. Sasuke slowly got up and then his Sharingan began to spin wildly. Naruto just growled back. Sasuke then ran towards Naruto, but then Naruto grabbed him with his extending arm. The Tsum no Kitsune burned Sasuke. In Naruto's extreme grip, Naruto then threw Sasuke into the cliff wall with extreme force, creating a crater. Naruto turned when he heard Sasuke's laughing. Naruto gasped when he saw Sasuke's gruesome form as the curse mark took over to its second state. Sasuke's hair grew longer and turned a deep bluish gray. His nails became claws and teeth grew longer to become fangs. His scara turned pitch black, the Sharingan still its original blood red. Then his skin turned clam gray. But then Sasuke groaned as his entire shirt ripped off and 2 wings sprouted from his back that looked grossly like hands. Look Naruto, you may be special having the QB, but I'm even more special. The hawk always overcomes the fox, Sasuke declared and then rushed Naruto, purple chakra blazing and Sharingan spinning. Naruto then ran to intercept his rival and then Sasuke punched Naruto in the gut followed by another quick jab with his clawed hand. Then Sasuke kicked Naruto in the chin. Sasuke then jumped up and did a backflip kicking Naruto in the chin. Sasuke then jumped again after landing and then spun and delivered a kick sending Naruto soaring. Sasuke then ran up to hit Naruto again, but then felt a high concentration of chakra inside of Naruto. Naruto turned and formed one hand sign and smiled at the Uchiha showing his sharp teeth. Kagebunshin Daibakufu, Naruto said. Sasuke's eyes widened as Naruto exploded in a bright flash of red chakra. Naruto watched hanging from a branch that just happened to be there, by his tail like a monkey. Naruto showed his foxy grin, revealing his sharp teeth. Got him, he said, but then looked back at the smoke and growled. Sasuke had protected himself with his hand-like wings. Sasuke then opened his wings to show he was unharmed. With the other important people. Wow, this battle is awesome. The amount of chakra, bloodlust and killer intent those two are releasing is unreal, Kiba said. Yes, but this just means that the battle will much longer than anticipated, Neji said. Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke let out an evil laugh that would send chills down your spine and spied Naruto watching him. See Naruto, this is the power of the curse mark. Now I will defeat you once and for all, Sasuke yelled. Naruto then released his hold on the tree branch and then Naruto ran on his two legs instead of all fours and the two then began a clash of ninjutsu as they made nearly endless amounts of hand signs. Katan, Karawenden, Sasuke yelled. Suiton. Suijin Hiki no Jutsu, Naruto countered as he summoned the water wall. Raitun. Raikurai no Jutsu, Naruto yelled and fired the thunderbolt. Sasuke had copied the water wall jutsu and formed his own. Sasuke then smiled as he formed more hand signs. Suiton. Suryuden no Jutsu, Sasuke cried. The water dragon then formed from the water wall surrounded by the Raikurai's electricity. Naruto cursed and formed some more hand signs. Hayaton. Sanryutate no Jutsu / ice style. Triple dragon shield jutsu, Naruto surrayed, and then the air condensed around him and then 3 ice dragons formed and protected Naruto from the water dragon. One was destroyed, but the other 2 survived and then turned on the offensive and attacked Sasuke. Sasuke gasped and then formed hand signs. Katan. Gukaku no Jutsu. He yelled and the biggest grand fireball ever made blasted out of Sasuke's mouth, melting the ice dragons and continued to barrel towards Naruto. Naruto just stood there as the fireball hit him. Sasuke smiled thinking he'd killed his adversary, but then remembered how the cloak protected Naruto. Then he felt a huge chakra spike. Naruto roared across form Sasuke and then a second tail emerged next to the first. Kyuso, if Naruto has more tails the stronger he gets. I have to end this quickly, Sasuke said, but was slapped in the temple with a chakra tail, sending him skipping like a stone across the water. Naruto then quickly appeared in front of Sasuke and then held him by his throat. He then dragged him along the water while punching the Uchiha in his head, then slammed his into the cliff wall, dragging him along it until he finally crashed him into the ankle of Madara's giant statue. The smoke cleared as Naruto had his hand on Sasuke's throat, but Sasuke splashed to the ground as a Mizu Bunshin. Sasuke then swooped down from above, purple chakra surrounding his hand. Naruto attempted to hit Sasuke, but failed and Sasuke grabbed the Kitsune boy's collar and threw him into the ankle of the Shodaime stot. However, Naruto had managed to use that close contact and kick Sasuke into the hole he had made in Madara's ankle. The smoke settled as both fighters rose from the smoke and glared at each other, knowing that these would be their final attacks. Sasuke closed his eyes and then snapped them open, forming the hand signs, and then the sound of 1,000 birds filled the air as the lightning and chakra of the Chidori sprang to life in Sasuke's left hand. But due to the use of the curse seal, the Chidori changed from its usual blue to a dark black and shining white. Naruto found that his entire right hand had gone totally numb and then the chakra swirled into his left hand. The Rasengan came to the world, but the Kyuubi's chakra gave it a violet color. The two ninja channeled every bit of chakra they had into those 2 attacks. The 2 then jumped from their perches. Sasuke flapped his wings and Naruto twirled his tail in a propeller-like motion, both trying to gain momentum and speed for their attacks. Time seemed to slow down for the 2 as the attacks clashed and they yelled the names of the techniques. Chidori / 1,000 birds. Rasengan / spiraling chakra sphere. A huge blast of chakra exploded from the clash of these two jutsus, and a large sphere of chakra surrounded them so no one could see what was happening from the outside. Inside, though, the two attacks were still struggling for dominance. But then Sasuke positioned his hand and the Chidori headed straight for Naruto's heart. But Naruto channeled wind chakra into his other hand, which had recovered from its numbness, and blocked the Chidori, and effectively destroying it. Naruto then saw his opening and then grabbed Sasuke and rammed the Rasengan into his stomach. Sasuke coughed blood, and he was blasted away by the orb of raw chakra. The sphere that enveloped them then took on a reddish hue before vanishing in an extremely bright flash of light. The light died down, and there lay an unconscious, bleeding, but still living Naruto and Sasuke. Shikamaru and the other immediately raced down to retrieve the two and take them back home. Gaara then created 2 sand beds and rested the 2 ninja onto them. "You did an awesome job, Naruto," Kiba said. "Your flames of youth have shined brighter than anyone else's," Lee said with anime waterfalls flowing from his eyes. "Okay guys, let's go back to Konoha now," Shikamaru said. The ninja, with the unconscious Naruto and Sasuke on the sandbeds, then took to the tree and headed for Konoha. Chapter 21, the final chapter. Secrets told and training trips. Konoha Hospital. Naruto's eyes fluttered open and looked around to find himself in a white room. Naruto smirked. "Guess I'm dead," Naruto thought. "Dobe," a voice called. Naruto's eyes widened and quickly sat up, but winced in pain. He looked down at himself and found he was covered in so many bandages he looked like a mummy. Naruto looked in the direction of the voice and his eyes widened. "Essa Sasuke," Naruto said uncertainly. Sasuke nodded. "You're dead too?" he asked. Sasuke's face faltered and he sweat dropped. "No, you Dobe, Shikamaru and the others brought us back after you hit me with your Rasengan and we both got knocked out," Sasuke said. Naruto nodded and then heard the door open and Tsunade and Shikamaru entered. Tsunade looked and saw the two were awake, and when Naruto was awake she quickly graped him in a bone-brushing hug. Itai, Oba-chan." Choking. "Not breathing," Naruto gasped as he struggled to get air as Tsunade's huge chest choked the life out of him. Tsunade luckily heard him and released him from her grip. Sasuke chuckled at the sight, until Tsunade looked at him. "Sasuke, you know there are consequences for your actions. The most severe would be death. But I can't do that since the council would never allow it. You will be placed under Umbu surveillance at all times and not able to go on missions for 1 month." Tsunade said. Sasuke nodded, accepting the terms, and then the Godame left. Naruto, Shikamaru said. "Yeah, Shikamaru?" Naruto?" Shikamaru scratched the back of his head and muttered troublesome. "We were there when you fought Sasuke and the Valley of the End, so we know about Kyuubi. So I just wanted you to know." Naruto became silent and looked down. But then the door opened and the entire Rookie 9 and Team Guy entered. Sakura and Hinata immediately ran to Naruto. "Arigato, Naruto and Ai-san. You brought him back." "Arigato," Sakura said as she gave Naruto a hug and then went to see Sasuke. Hinata gave him a hug also and then a kiss on the lips. "I was so worried about you. I thought I would lose you," Hinata said with tears in her eyes. Naruto used his thumb and wiped away her tears and gave her hug. "Well, the important thing is that I'm alive. Ne, Hinata-chan?" Naruto asked with a foxy grin. Hinata sniffled before giving a smile and nodded. "So why are the rest of you here?" Naruto asked, gesturing to the others. "Shikamaru called us together to meet here because he said you had an important secret you have to tell us," Tenten said. Naruto sighed. "Okay, you guys sit down," Naruto said. Everyone sat on the floor or on some of the chairs provided in most hospital rooms. "Okay, do you guys know about the story of how the Kyuubi no Kitsune was defeated by the Yondaime Hokage?" he asked. Everyone nodded. "Well, that was a lie to cover up the truth," everyone gasped. "A lie?" Tenten asked. Naruto nodded. "You see, the Bijou are near invincible beings. Therefore they can't be killed, so the Yondaime used a secret kinjutsu, Fuinjutsu. Shiki Fuin, the Yondaime summoned the Shinigami and sealed the soul of the Kyuubi into a baby boy, whose umbilical cord had just been cut, and that child was me. I am the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune," Naruto said. The whole room was silent as they comprehended the words that Naruto had told them. Sakura patted his back to comfort him. Hinata was the first to speak. "Well, if you were that child, Naruto-kun, then you're a hero to all of us," Hinata said with a smile and then kissed his cheek. "Arigato, Hinata-chan," Naruto said with a smile. "And you guys, I understand if you don't like me anymore," Kiba then spoke up. "Yeah, right, that just gives me more inspiration to become better than you," he said. Akamaru barked the same thing. Your flames of youth are even brighter than ever, Naruto-kun. We are honored to be friends of the hero of Konoha, Lee said, giving the nice guy pose. Naruto had tears in his eyes as each of his friends gave their compliments. Arigato, Mina. Also, I have another thing to tell you, Naruto said as he wiped his tears. What? Ino asked. My parents. I know who they are, Naruto said with a smile. Everyone cheered for the blonde. So who are they? Shino asked. Uzumaki Kushina and Namikaze Minato, head Umbu captain and Yandemi Hokage, Naruto said proudly. Everyone in the room had their jaws on the floor, except Sasuke. Kyuso, I'll just have to do some serious training then, Kiba said as he got up. Well, I guess we have to go now, Ino said. Everyone else nodded and got up to leave until all that was left was Team 7. The door then opened a few moments later and Jiraiya entered. Ero Sanin, Naruto exclaimed. Oi, Gaki. I'm here to congratulate you. You brought back your friend, Jiraiya said. Naruto grinned before looking at Jiraiya. And? He asked, knowing Jiraiya had something else to say. I'll be taking you away on a training trip for 3 years. Akutsuki has taken a 3-year pause in their plans when they failed to take Kyuubi from you, so I'll be making you stronger during that time. Tsunade already gave me permission. You'll be leaving the day you get out of this Kami-forsaken hospital, Jiraiya said, and then Kakashi had appeared. Oh, I see you already told him, Kakashi said, and then looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, the copy Nin called to the Uchiha. Sasuke looked up at the one-eyed man. I'll be taking you as my apprentice and also before Naruto leaves. When you and Naruto get better, meet with Sakura and I at Training Ground 7 at 10 a.m. Don't be late, he said, and then poofed away. Jiraiya chuckled, and then he left as well. Well, be good, you too. I need to see Tsunade-sama for something, Sakura said, and then left the room. Naruto and Sasuke sat there in silence, but then Sasuke broke the silence. Gomen Nasai, Sasuke said. Naruto looked at Sasuke with surprise. I nearly gave up everything all just for power, and I promise I'll never do that again. Can you forgive me? Sasuke asked as he prepared for the answer of no. I already have, Naruto said. Sasuke looked at Naruto with wide eyes. You apologized and have taken responsibility for your actions, and for that I forgive you, Naruto said with his foxy grin. Arigato, Naruto, Sasuke said. A few weeks later, Naruto and Sasuke had gotten better and had been released from the hospital and then immediately set off for the training grounds. Sakura and Kakashi were already there when the two arrived. Hey guys, glad to see you all back from that hospital and all better, Kakashi said. Glad to be back, Sensei, Naruto said. Sasuke, just want you to know that you're a Chunin rank, and so after Naruto leaves we have to go and get your vest. Also Naruto, Tsunade-sama has had yours remodified, Kakashi told the two. Naruto and Sasuke nodded, giving each other a high five. Okay, so Naruto will be leaving in an hour, so we will be doing a little team spar, you three against me, just like old times, Kakashi said. The three Chunin nodded and then got into fighting stances. Okay, I've set that timer for 1 hour. When the time is up, that means we're done, and now, rules Naruto no Yukai. Sasuke no curse seal, understand, Kakashi commanded. The two nodded and the fight began. The three Chunin attacked their sensei and fired out kicks and punches from all angles, but Kakashi had unveiled his Sharingan and was blocking them all. Sasuke then activated his Sharingan too and then began to form hand signs. Katan, Kukakyu no Jutsu, Sasuke yelled and said fireball blasted towards the silver-haired Jonin. Kakashi formed hand signs and a speed faster than the three Chunin had expected. Suetun, Suryuden no Jutsu, Kakashi yelled, and then a water dragon rose out of the river and countered the fireball, kicking up a large amount of dust. Then Naruto ran through the steam and aimed a punch for Kakashi's head. Kakashi blocked it and then countered with a kick to the stomach, sending the block skidding back a few feet. Sasuke then appeared below the Jonin and kicked him in the chin, sending the Jonin skywards. Sasuke then jumped up and used Kagebunshin. Then Sasuke's feet and fists caught aflame. He then kicked Sasuke in the chest, followed with a burning fist to the Jonin's face and then a final kick to the stomach. Doki no Ryurenden, Sasuke yelled, and the pillar of flame was made, burning Kakashi. The flames died down and all that was left was a burned and charred log. Kawarimi no Jutsu, Sakura exclaimed, but then a pair of hands grabbed her ankles and pulled underneath the earth, and then Kakashi jumped out and only Sakura's head was sticking out. Doton, Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu / Earth Style, Headhunter Jutsu, Kakashi said, but then Sakura disappeared in a poof of smoke. Then he turned and was punched in the face with Sakura's chakra-enhanced fist. But Kakashi turned out to be a Kagebunshin as he disappeared in a poof of smoke. The three Chunin looked around the field for their sensei. "Kyuso, he's gone," Naruto said. Then he was hit in the back of the head from a kick courtesy of Kakashi. Naruto growled and then his eyes flashed red. Naruto turned and slammed his foot into Kakashi's stomach. Kakashi coughed and then Sasuke came up and punched the Jonin in the face. Sakura jumped up, delivered an axe kick to Kakashi's head, and then Naruto came from behind Kakashi and then shot a powerful spin kick to the Jonin's back, sending him sprawling on the ground. Kakashi quickly got up and saw the three Chunin forming hand signs. Suiton. Suryuden no Jutsu, Naruto yelled. Katan. Karawenden no Jutsu, Sasuke yelled. Doton. Hibidu no Jutsu, Sakura yelled. The serpents of earth, fire and water then sped towards their sensei. Kakashi's eyes widened as the elemental serpents raced towards him. Kakashi quickly formed hand signs. Doton. Tate no do / earth style. Shield of earth, Kakashi said. Then 4 walls of earth formed a box around him and blocking the attacks. The earth walls then collapsed and then Naruto formed hand signs. Raiton. Raryuenden no Jutsu, Naruto yelled, and the dragon of lightning raced towards Kakashi with a roar. Kakashi jumped over the dragon and quickly blocked a punch to his face from Sasuke and then rolled underneath the Uchiha, kicking him in the back. But Sasuke Sharingan foresaw that and Sasuke blocked the kick and then delivered a kick of his own, sending the Jonin into Naruto. Naruto then punched Kakashi into the Sakura, who also punched Kakashi in the head. Kakashi somehow bounced back up and then Sakura delivered a series of rapid punches in quick succession and then spun and kicked Kakashi in the head, sending him flying. "You guys really are stronger than before," Kakashi said, panting from the beating he got. Kakashi then formed a few hand signs and his Raikiri came to life. Naruto and Sasuke's eyes widened before they formed their Rasengan and Chidori. Kakashi ran towards the 2 Chunin, and then as they grew closer Kakashi stopped his Raikiri and grabbed Naruto's and Sasuke's wrists, slamming their attacks into the earth, making a huge explosion. Then when the smoke cleared, Kakashi was still as he saw Naruto and Sasuke poof into smoke, showing they were Kagebunshins. Then Kakashi felt wind and lightning and steel held against his neck. Naruto had his Rasengan. Sasuke his Chidori and Sakura had one of her special seal-infused kunai, all then held to Kakashi's throat. "Well, at least you put up more of a fight, Kakashi-sensei," Sakura said with a smirk, and then the 3 Chunin moved away. Sasuke and Naruto dispelled their attacks and Sakura pocketed her kunai. "Hey Naruto, I got accepted to be the apprentice of Tsunade-sama," Sakura said excitedly. "Congratulations, Sakura-ne-chan," Naruto said. "Eichen," Sasuke said. "I'm very proud of you 3, and I am honored to be your sensei," Kakashi said and gave a bow. The 3 Chunin returned the bow and then they all left to gather the Rookie 9 and Team Guy to see Naruto off. Konoha's main gates. Naruto was standing next to Jiraiya as he looked at all his friends who came to see him off. "Sasuke, make sure you become stronger. I want to fight you when I come back," Naruto started. Sasuke smirked and gave a high five to the blonde. "Sakura-ne-chan, have fun with Oba-chan," Sakura nodded with a grin. "Shikamaru, you may be lazy, but I know you like the job, so just enjoy it while you can. Chuji, at least have a balanced diet and try to focus more on your training. Ino, make sure you keep them alive." Ino and the others nodded with a chuckle. Naruto then walked towards Hinata and gave her a kiss. "Train hard, Hinata-chan, and become stronger," Naruto said. Hinata nodded and smiled. "Hi Naruto-kun," she replied. "Kiba, Shino, keep up the good work. Lee, keep up that taijutsu stuff. I will fight you when I come back after I beat Sasuke. Niji, don't rely on fate so much, and Tenten, have some for diversity to your style. Add a little ninjutsu here and there so that you can have the element of surprise," he said. The ninja all nodded. Naruto then walked forward and gave Tsunade a hug. "I'll be back, so don't cry, Oba-chan," Naruto said. Tsunade returned the hug and wiped the tears that threatened to fall. "Shut the hell up, Gaki," she said with a motherly smile. "Now go off and come back stronger than ever." "Hi Tsunade-sama," Naruto said. Tsunade's eyes went wide and then smiled. "Well, Ero Sanin, let's go," Naruto said. "Mateo, Naruto," Shikamaru said. "Yeah, Shikamaru? Why do you call Jiraiya Ero Sanin and not Ero Sanin?" he asked. "Because, although it's an insult, it still shows respect for him by calling him Sanin and not Sanin," Naruto explained. Shikamaru nodded. Naruto then turned and fixed his bag. "Okay, Ero Sanin, now we go," Naruto said. "Okay, Gaki, let's go. Time to make you stronger than ever," Jiraiya said, And then in the sunset, master and student walked away, to come back in 3 years. Well, see you in 3 years, Naruto. The Godai Kitsune / Elemental Fox, Sakura whispered. The end.